Rarely has mankind hesitated to eradicate the creatures that stand in the path of his conquest. If we find intelligent species, ritual extirpation, undesirable beings, odors from another world, the rest must be destroyed. Is it possible that our dark past might repeat itself? Watch them and pray.
Guru readings, ladies, gentlemen, government agents, the thing standing behind you while you listen to this, and anyone who might be listening. This is Close Encounters of the Podcast Kind. I'm your host, Tasker, and we have Nick.
Hey, ask me how I'm doing real quick.
How are you doing, Nick?
I'll tell you how I'm doing. Now, here's the deal. I have a pretty fucking sweet mullet right now, okay?
Yeah.
First, it was my natural hair color, a dark brown, right? I dyed it blonde a couple weeks ago. It was all right. I looked like I was in like White Snake or something, right? Got bored of it. I just dyed it black, and now here's the problem. With a black mullet, I just kind of look like Wayne from Wayne's World, right? So
yeah.
earlier this morning with the blonde one, I looked like Garth, and now I look like Wayne.
So, wow, you just did the whole two-person cosplay in just a week.
Yeah, and not happy about it. I mean, I like the black, but all I can think about now when I look in the mirror is Wayne's World, so...
Yeah. Are you thinking about actually, somebody made a point that what is it? They said like country is basically just like Midwest goth, basically, in a weird way.
Oh, dude, you know what's funny? I did see that, but you know what's funny is there is actually a genre of Americana music called Southern Gothic. And it's pretty good. If you like acoustic instruments, but you don't like to listen to like boyfriend country on the radio, Southern Gothic might be the one for you.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, because when you're saying like I have a mullet dyed black, I'm like, sounds like country goth to me. Like that sounds like almost the symbol of it.
I'm bringing it together, full circle, baby.
Talking about sadness, depression, wearing like eyeliner while still drinking like
PBR with my little mandolin and shit. Yeah, dude, you know me.
My brother and his friends at PBRs, they call them Peebers.
Peebers. I've never heard that before. I like that.
Yeah,
Peebers.
letters PBR, Peebers, and I'm like, I'm down for it, dude. I think ever since I heard that, I can't stop calling it that, and I don't care if it annoys people.
I haven't had a PBR in a long time, and I don't remember how they taste, but I remember enjoying them when I was younger, but I don't know if that's because that's the only alcohol I could get my hands on before I turned 21.
Well, it was also like everyone had them at parties because it was cheap. You can buy a lot of it, and if you're doing a game like beer pong, you don't want to use like your good IPA for that, you know?
Could you imagine doing beer pong with like a double barrel IPA that you paid like $12 for a 6-pack for?
Fucking mad. Somebody like knocks on the table, spills one. You're like, well, that's like fucking, that's minus $2 right there.
That would suck, dude. Hey, there's some rich assholes out there that actually do that though.
I fucking bet. Yeah, they get like that. What was it? Remember that one thing you got forever ago? It was like the pirate ale, but it was like 15% alcohol as a beer.
Was it Shipwrecked? What was it called? Was it called Shipwrecked?
It was its own variant because it had its own like special bottle and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. It was
you got
like
it at a Umami Burger.
That's right, dude. That messed me up hard.
Yeah, Umami Burger's the only burger place I've ever gotten 2 entrees, and I felt like I was gonna die. But holy shit, I would have died. I would have gone out like Nikado Avocado probably will.
You're just crying and slapping your belly, yeah,
and eventually just keel over.
Oh, what a gross human.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, we're gonna do more spooky stuff today.
And we're doing spooky stuff, but we're continuing this trend of real life spooky stuff, right? I feel like, you know, last week, what did we do last week? Oh, yeah, we did medieval torture.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what I did yesterday, dude.
I sometimes forget what I'm doing in the moment. We're just like, wait, we're fucking on the air. That's right.
Don't dissociate. Not right now.
Don't put the guard down, otherwise I'm going to reveal my fucking location.
So we're continuing this trend with realistic spooky shit, because I feel like last year, you know, we did some really fun like spooky stuff, but now we're basing it more in what some people like Tasker would call reality. Okay.
Yeah, a thing that there's actual like, you know, it's very documented stuff.
Documented, you could say. I like that. Better than saying true. Let's call it documented.
See, I'm getting more tolerant as we go.
I love it, man. See, you and I are and I'm becoming more tolerant of your truths. Yeah. So I feel like we're becoming like one being that is just a giant oxymoron.
Yeah, it's really strange how it works out. And I mean, I almost wonder, it's hard to think because it's like I like the character development, but sometimes it's like maybe we should just like start shit just because it's good content, or even just like start cyberbullying like other podcasts and just for the clout.
Dude, could you imagine? I don't know, man. We have to punch up though, which will be easy because we're a pretty small podcast right now. So like we can easily choose a podcast and punch up, but we can't. Apparently, the times you start getting canceled as a content creator is when you start punching down. So we got to make sure we don't pick on anybody who has like 3 listeners.
Yeah. See, that's not right. We gotta find someone who it won't affect them very much, but that we can benefit from the from their following,
Yeah, or I could just start calling you like names based off of your ethnicities.
You could also do that too. It just really depends. Sorry, I'm trying to look up. Let's see, what are some of the top podcasts right now? Audible, that's a book. That's like not even a podcast. Decoder Ring. I bet you smell.
Yeah, Decoder Ring, more like ringworm.
Yeah. Let's see. The Lazarus Heist.
The what?
The Lazarus Heist is a BBC World Service News political one. You're British.
Yeah, BBC, more like BBC, if you know what I mean.
In the mouth. So
That's
there you go. That'll be a new segment in our show where we roast other podcasts as an attempt to siphon off some of their clout. And also, too, just because I forgot we mentioned this, Elvis fact of the day was that Elvis had brought Graceland when he was 22.
Oh, shit. I forgot we were doing that. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. That random bit that we just decided to do just out of nowhere. There it is. That's your Elvis fact for the day.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And when Christmas gets closer, I'll sing Elvis's Blue Christmas, which is one of my favorite songs.
Perfect. I love it. I love the chaos. So going with that roll, we got to check the stars to see how the tone of how this episode's going to go. It's the best way to tell. So Nick, what horoscope do you have today?
Let's see here. Keep your eyes open today. Be on the lookout for opportunities and invitations. Don't act too hastily. This is a key time in which life seems to be moving more quickly than ever. Change. Oh, Jesus.
You almost died on the air again.
Oh, I feel like Nick Ocado, dude.
Yeah. It's contagious.
Change may be just what you need to foster your growth. Don't just grab the first thing that comes your way. Examine your options closely. Make sure you're confident about the situation, then act.
You've kind of been doing that, right?
I feel like I've been doing that. I feel better about myself and the decisions that I've been making lately. So, yes.
Yeah, cool. It's funny how sometimes they're not even horoscopes. It's just like a statement of like,
like Norm Macdonald would say, it's more of a statement, really.
Yeah. Rest in peace. Oh,
my man, dude, I fucking miss him. But anyway, my stars are looking okay. Sex is a 4 out of 5. Vibe is a 4 out of 5. Hustle is a 2 out of 5, and success is a 3 out of 5.
All right, not too bad.
And the low hustle may seem concerning, but given the fact that I have kind of an easier day today, school-wise, due to unforeseen circumstances, I would say, who gives a shit about hustle today?
Yeah, we're recording on Sunday, man. Keep holy the Sabbath.
Amen, brother.
Spreading that good word,
Oh, our timer just hit 9:11.
Oh, then what a better time to do my horoscope, huh? What was that one video forever ago where it was like this one guy who was just like, I almost got fired from my job today. It's like, why? Because one of the customers came up and asked me what my favorite holiday was, and out of pure reflex, I said 9/11.
Yeah, what a chat.
Oh my God. Anyways, mine says there's electricity in the air today, which may spur you to make a significant change in one area of your life. Try not to rush on this one. Don't change just for the sake of change, but really examine something that needs to shift. You have a great opportunity for growth now, so look for ways in which you can make major personal improvements. I went to the gym yesterday.
That's right. My man, dude.
For the first time in a very long time. So in the whole span of Corona, I only went to the gym for a couple times, last March, of this year, March 2021. But other than that, I've pretty much they were closed, what could I do? And then you get used to it, etc. But no, I went to the gym. I did chest and try, and I'm I'm feeling pretty good. So yeah, this horoscope is just stating the obvious.
Good for you, man. I am so glad that you're hitting the gym again, because I've been sending you so many gym related TikToks, and I think that I just got in your unconscious, man. I think that seeing all these these funny, because you know what I love about the TikTok fit community is that most of them are dudes like us who grew up with like Ziz and bodybuilding.com forums and slash fit, you know. So that I feel like that culture is coming back again. That like meme gym bro shit.
Dude, it's the fucking best because like a bunch of gym bros are just all just like memers and they have good fucking memes too. Like it's just, I mean, who doesn't want to go after you watch like Bro Science's like how to eat chicken and not want to kill yourself, like, or like, you know, how to actually use the squat rack. Like, I don't know, it makes you want to go because it's that part of like, yeah, you know, working out it's tough and all, but like, dude, there's some fun shit and you got to be like included. You know, like you understand the jokes and you understand like the buff problems.
That's right, man. Inclusivity. That's beautiful. That's a good way to put it.
Hell yeah. So feels good. I finally can start chipping away at this like gut that I've built over time. And yeah, my goal is if I could drop 20 pounds, I'll be like right and back in my healthy weight range.
Attaboy, man. You could do it. You could do it. Put your back into it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, while I'm still in like my 20s and stuff, all this fat just melts right off. All I gotta do is work out for like a month, and I'm like already like spick and spam and at my peak again.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Spick, that's racist, dog. Look, just because you're Mexican doesn't mean you're allowed to say that.
I wish you guys could see you could see the gears in Nick's head. It was like, wait, that was racist.
Wait, you can't say that.
There, your mullet, man. It's like shining. Anyways, sex is a 4 out of 5. Hustle's a 2 out of 5. Vibes a 3 out of 5. Success is a 4 out of 5. Hustle's low because I drank a lot last night and I'm feeling tired, but everything else is pretty high up and I'm feeling good.
Dude, I went through almost a liter of wild turkey rye last night.
Ooh, I've had nights like that. Those are tough ones to wake up from.
Fuck me, dude. My face is so puffy right now just because I think it's stored all the wild turkey.
Just really going for like the full bird aesthetic now, huh? And you even got the mullet too, so it's like you're almost fully there. You just need a beak.
Something's wrong with me, bro. I just need to move to Kentucky and just live there, I think.
Isn't Kentucky a dry state?
Ah, fuck.
Yeah, and it's so weird because you wouldn't think it would be. It's like where it's like, isn't it in order for it to be like certified bourbon, it needs to be from Kentucky or something?
Kentucky bourbon, like Jack. They distill Jack in Kentucky, dry state though. Weird.
Yeah.
So riddle me this: if it's a dry state, does that mean when they sip, when they test the Jack that they're breaking the law?
I think you have to spit it out.
Oh.
So you can taste it like they do it like, you know, major like whiskey tasting and stuff. They usually spit it out afterwards because if you all it takes is like 4 or 5 tasters and you're already like, oh, whoa, man.
Like when we used to do tasters at my uncle's house, we didn't spit that shit out.
Yeah, heavy quotation on tasters. Oh my god.
It was just different. It was just like a bunch of different whiskey that we were drinking like over and over.
Just doing like 16 shots over and over again. Like oh god. But yeah, it's like at like competitions, especially because you know wine competitions are a really big thing. The judges they swish, they taste, and they spit it out because being drunk impairs your ability to judge fairly. So they have to. So that's probably what they do in Kentucky, or they're just like a thug life and just down it.
I would do that because like who's gonna come check? Like, do they have officers on standby looking at your gullet? You know, I was just like, no, I'm down in it. What are they gonna do?
Yeah, well, I also think too, being a dry state doesn't mean it's illegal to drink it. You just can't sell it. So if you're making it, it should be completely fine.
Oh, so I can make moonshine.
Yeah, that should be fine. You just can't sell it to anybody.
That's pretty cool, man. So if you want to drink, you have to work for it. You got to really work for it.
And don't fuck it up. I hear if you self-distill and you do it wrong, like you could like kill yourself on accident.
Wicked.
Yeah.
Hey, we still need to make our you know, when we start doing merch for the podcast, hint everybody, we need to start selling our ever beer.
That's right, Everbeer. The idea we came up with in like years ago of if you haven't pieced that together already, we thought it'd be great to take the least alcoholic thing, which is a like
O'Doul's or something.
Yeah, a non-alcoholic beer, and mix it with Everclear, which is what 80% plus alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't need a lot, but and I'm sure it's gonna taste like shit. But it's you do it for the joke, you do it for the meme.
That's right. And we'll bottle it, but keep it on the DL so we don't get sued by either company. All right.
Oh yeah, we'll have to come up with like a fake like alien sounding name, like something brand Everbeer.
Mothership
Everbeer. Hell, fuck yeah.
Woo!
Damn, we're gonna kill all of our listeners. They are not gonna make it out of that.
Oh Jesus!
Fear of Everbeer. What it might do to you? That's a scary thing, almost like a phobia.
Oh, I'm glad that you said that. What a good transition. All right. So, everybody, welcome back to another spooky October episode of CEO TPK. Now, as you can see from today's title, like I said earlier, we are still continuing this trend of reality-based fears this week. So, we will be discussing phobias of all shapes and sizes. Okay, there are a lot that I handpicked for this, from the fairly understandable to the completely irrational. Okay.
Yeah, and it's interesting. This almost is like a semi-spiritual sequel to the because last year we did what's that called? Sleep paralysis. And that's like kind of like a real like psychological thing and stuff. So this is like sort of like we're going into the psychological again a bit. And also this episode is our technically it's our Hooked on Phonics final to prove that we've been paying attention all semester. Because these things are hard to pronounce.
Yo, I'm still gonna get some of this stuff wrong. I've never had to say almost, I would say 95% of these out loud before. So bear with me. Because there are a lot of names here for different phobias and stuff. But yes, Tasker's right. This is a Hooked on Phonics episode, but it is also going to be probably one of the most educational episodes that we've ever done in a fun, spooky way.
Yeah, because this is some really real shit that can be very debilitating, actually. And as ridiculous as some of them might be, some people's entire quality of life is just absolutely decimated by their phobias and stuff like that. And that's why and as irrational as some of them may be, like, what was it, that one, like it was like Maury or something, and somebody had a
pickle. Was it the pickles lady?
Yeah, the pickle phobia. Yeah. So they got somebody to walk out in a giant pickle suit. And this fucking lady just, oh man, you think somebody was like shooting the place up. She just darted for the nearest exit, like full scale breakdown. It was insane.
Yeah, it's a very, very real thing. So just like Tasker said, despite how irrational some of these things are, one of the diagnostic criteria is it has to be debilitating. It has to be distressing to your life. And when in contact with these things, it has to impair your relationships and your life. So it's very real. So we have to remember that as we go through this, that as funny as it is, some of them, and as many jokes as we are going to say, and some people out there are suffering from this shit.
Yeah, exactly. And hey, maybe you'll find some comfort in having it like addressed. Who knows? Or you're going to fucking flame us on our reviews. So I don't know.
Or you're going to get triggered. So
yep, one of them.
Anyways, what I figured we would do for today's episode is briefly give a rundown of phobias from a psychological viewpoint, then talk about the juicy stuff, right? My handpicked specific phobias, which we will discuss from the countless, limitless list of phobias out there. If there's something that exists, it's like Rule 34, but phobias. If it exists, somebody's afraid of it. That's just the way it goes.
Totally. Like you really can't have a phobia of anything from any circumstance. Like it could be something really traumatic happened to you, and there was I don't know, a specific like door frame or like a door handle, and every time you see something like it, you just go into hysterics and stuff like that. Like it could be literally anything. So obviously, the point being, we can't go over every single one.
Yeah, but I got a lot. Of them. So without further delay, grab your nearest weighted blanket for comfort, because I know I have one, because I might be autistic. There are no trigger warnings here, by the way. And prepare yourself for a gradual exposure therapy, because we're diving right in.
Hell yeah. I've been really excited about this because one of my favorite games, there's one of the main bosses are named after phobias.
Oh, that's right. You sent me something on it, and because it had a Japanese sounding name, I did not open it.
Yep. It's Amori.
Oh, Amori. Oh,
yeah, it's a good game. And nobody's going to play it, but it's kind of okay because at least the community's cool, because it's just only like 20,000 people who played it.
What was the boss's name?
One of them I think was one of them's like thalassophobia or something.
Oh, I have that on here. Okay.
Good. One of them's arachnophobia.
Oh boy, we're gonna be talking about that one for a while. Okay.
Oh, yeah. And the last one, acrophobia, which I think is the fear of falling.
Acrophobia is yes, the fear of falling or heights.
Oh, I see. And it's kind of cool the way they do the boss is they have like a photo of like a staircase going down into just like complete darkness. They invert the colors and then they just make this like really like creepy face and like a bunch of like hands like reaching out at you and stuff.
Yeah, man. Hopefully nobody out there has those phobias because there are some cases where it's like you have to be present in the phobic object or situation to be
Right.
like triggered. But just thinking about some of these things can put people into a panic or at least show some signs of anxiety.
Yeah.
For me, and this is something that we'll talk about soon, arachnophobia is I have it very badly. Like if I wanted to get diagnosed with it, I could. I meet all the criteria. You know how bad it is for me. I've
seen it.
Not a good time, bro. So, I mean, we'll talk more about it when we get there, but just seeing things like this, even in video games, can trigger some people. That's how bad this is for some people.
Yeah, it's a spectrum.
Just like me.
Yeah, good job. Gold star.
Okay, that was rude. All right.
All right, before we dig a bigger hole. All right, let's move on.
Okay, so first things first, guys. I know in the past I have how do I put this? I've talked down to scientists, right? But I'm a man of science now.
Yeah, I'll believe that when I see you in the white coat.
You're right. I'm kidding. I'm just fucking with you.
No.
Me going to school for psychology is a ploy.
Yeah, and you don't believe in science.
No, because like I said, science isn't real. Nothing. Whatever. We can get into that later. Look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the psychological groundwork to understand phobias the way that science understands it right now. Okay.
Uh-huh. So
Just the
basically
groundwork.
you're gonna play ball a bit.
I'm playing the devil's advocate, assuming this shit's real. Okay.
A lot of the use of the word allegedly, or at this point, you're just establishing pre-alleging everything you're about to say.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm just gonna big disclaimer. This is pre-alleged. Okay.
Yeah. So everything Nick says, just assume he says allegedly afterwards from this point onward.
All right. So first off, what is a phobia? A phobia, known as specific phobia in the psychology world, is an anxiety disorder characterized by excessive, distressing, and persistent fear or anxiety about a specific object or situation. Okay. Now, there are 5 major categories of phobias listed in the DSM-5. Blood injury injection, or shortened to BII, situational, natural environment, animal, which is the most common, and other, which is where you get your wackadoo ones.
Yeah, that's where you get the weird, almost fetishy types. Like, really quick, what is DSM-5?
It's the Diagnostic Statistics Manual for Mental Disorders, the 5th version.
Okay, shit. Yeah, they got this whole thing documented. I mean, I hope they do.
I mean, allegedly, right?
Yeah, allegedly, yeah. So that's the other category, though. That's the eyebrow. That's our pickle fears.
Yeah, that's the fun one. That's the one where it's like, okay, there's some wacky shit going on in there. You'll see. You'll see. It's super fun.
Got it.
I mean, not for the people suffering from it, but
yeah, for us. And also too, if you have a really wacky phobia and you end up on Maury, some people are like, oh, that's terrible if they're exploiting them for like, their fears and stuff like that. So is Nikado Avocado exploiting his like addictive personality to eat himself to death on YouTube. Like, they're making money doing it, they know what they're about.
Yeah, they know they're doing it. And that's the dying. Ugh, jeez. All right. So there is a smaller group of phobias called complex phobias. Smaller because there's not as many in them, but they are more debilitating. Now, they're generally much more broad fears or anxieties toward phobic situations. And these situations make it harder for the sufferers to live their daily lives. Examples of these could be agoraphobia and social phobia. Now, the difference between simple / specific and complex phobias is that simple, specific phobias are things that you have to encounter or think about a specific object or situation to freak out, whereas complex phobias, they will take over your life. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to agoraphobia, because social phobia. If you have a social phobia, you can't interact with anybody, and it impairs every aspect of your life, not just one. It's not like me running into a spider. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, so complex phobia is multiple things in multiple situations fall under the same category of this one phobia.
Yeah.
Whereas a regular phobia, it's just that one thing sets you off. Whereas
That one thing. Yep.
oh yeah, that sucks. If you have a phobia of social interaction, I mean that's literally an exception for every single person you meet. Like it's a different way to get triggered from that. So, shit.
Yeah,
it is complex.
It's very complex and it's very debilitating. So those are the worst. I mean, they're all bad, but in my opinion, those are the ones that are just like so devastating because you can't interact with people. With some of them, you can't leave your house with others, and it sucks. But we'll get into it later. Whatever. Let's get into the good shit.
Exactly.
This is not supposed to be a downer. This is look, as much as Nick wanted to apply what he's been learning from school to this episode, it's not meant to be educational. Okay, so let's just get into it.
Gonna say, ever since you dyed that mullet black, just everything's just been doom brimstone, huh?
Yeah. Now, when we get into different phobias later in the episode, I will be talking about some from each of these categories that I mentioned, not complex phobias, because that's a whole topic within itself. But those 5 categories I listed, I have a bunch of different ones picked out for each one. It's going to be nice and spooky. We got a whole spooky spread going.
Ooh, yes. All right. That's the way to do it. It is October still.
Damn straight. Now, we have to address the elephant in the room, okay? I was going to make a rude joke about me. The word I've been gaining a little bit of weight. It's bulking season, all right, Tasker? I know when I said elephant in the room, you automatically looked at me. It's fine. You can make all the jokes you want. I know I'm getting a little thick, all right?
Well, no, I was actually going to say it looks like you've been working out. You also look more built.
Oh, thanks, man. See, I'd have body dysmorphic disorder and dying inside. That's okay.
And maybe sometimes being the elephant in the room is a compliment, you know?
I'm being the fucking gorilla in the room, dog. Yeah. The biggest one.
Fucking silverback.
So the elephant in the room right now for this episode is the fact that the word phobia is thrown around a lot on a basic level to describe being afraid of something. We've all done it. I still do it just to make things fast, right? So, but it's important to note that specific phobias are very real, debilitating mental disorders.
Yeah. Well, also too, the word phobic and phobia has also been thrown around as a synonym for hating something too at the same time. So it's like when you hear the word, like when you call somebody homophobic, yes, I mean, it's probably they're, deeply psychologically, they dislike them because they're afraid of them, because their lifestyle is different for them and they don't understand it. It breaks their idea of a status quo, which to them breaks their stability, which to them goes towards a lack of self-confidence and a lack of self-action, blah, blah, blah. We could get deep.
Or Freud would just say it's because the dude's gay.
Yeah, exactly. Some people would say, oh, yeah, what, you're afraid you're going to like it? Like, and for some people, that's true. Some people, that is actually the case. But, like, it has sort of become this sort of, like, synonym for, like homophobia. I hate this person because of their lifestyle, because they don't want to admit they're afraid of them. And it sort of turned into but, it became this thing. But, wow, that was a tangent that was kind of unnecessary. I don't really know where else I was going to go with it.
I'll wrap it up. I think I know what you're saying. So let's not confuse anything we're talking about today with phobias that are in the mainstream right now when it comes to different human rights, right? When it comes to homophobia, transphobia, all this kinds of stuff. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about actual fears of we're talking about irrational fears today.
Yeah, when you see it, you poop your Pampers, you have to go get a change. You see another one, you got to change again because that's now two Pampers gone.
Yeah. Yep. The two whole Pampers.
That's a lot of Pampers. That shit ain't cheap.
It's expensive, dog.
So get ready, everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Now, real quick, what does it take? So since we are defining what we're talking about today, what does it take to be diagnosed with specific phobia? First, The fear or anxiety toward an object or situation must be disproportionate to the actual danger the object or situation possesses or poses. So basically, the long and short of it is the fear or anxiety has to be irrational.
Mhm.
And the sad thing is that these people know that their phobia is irrational, but they can't help it.
So if you think bugs are gross and weird, and you're like, and you like scream when you see it, that's not a phobia.
No.
A phobia is when you fucking like have like it's like suddenly
Physiological symptoms. You start having anxiety, like panic attack symptoms.
Yeah,
it's
like
very
something
debilitating.
Yeah, something where it's like when your reaction is something that your friends can't really laugh at. Okay, you probably have a phobia.
If it's that's a good way to put it. If your friends are kind of like, "Ah, what a loser," it's not a phobia.
Yeah, you're just
but if
scared
they're
of
like, "Hey, are you good, man?" That's a phobia.
Yeah, that is dude. See, look at us go, like making good distinctions.
You know what? Fuck aliens, dude. Let's just do science podcasts.
Wouldn't that be funny?
We'll switch off every week. You can do technology science. I can do psychological science. We'll switch off every week.
And we still keep the same podcast name. We just don't ever talk about aliens ever again.
That'd be hilarious.
That's
the ultimate troll.
The best STEM podcast in America.
Oh shit.
Oh, can you imagine? I mean, hey, what's stopping us?
That'd be hilarious, dude. Oh my gosh.
But
you make a good point. You make a good point. It has to be disproportionate response.
Right. And that's the big distinction, because if you just scream and it's like all fun and games, you're just scared of it. And that's totally fine and natural. Like, we're supposed to be scared of things. That's survival. Like, that's how we make it. When you see a fucking lion, and even though it's probably tame, there's that part of you that's like, because in the wild, that thing would tear your head off. So, the fear is not a bad thing all the time, but it can, like everything in life, you also got to keep it in check.
Got to keep it in check, man. Second, the phobic object or situation must either be actively avoided or endured through massive distress if it cannot be avoided. Most times, people can avoid the things that are on this list, but there are some phobias that people cannot avoid. For instance, social phobias. That's why it's a complex one. You can't avoid that. That's why it impairs your life so much, because you can't avoid it. You either go through life interacting with people highly distressed, or you avoid people completely and stay in your house. So
yeah, it's all there was I was just thinking about the Truman Show, and how there's some people who have a real, like, I don't know if we cover it or anything, but there's a phobia of the fear of being like watched at all times.
Yeah.
And that never goes away.
And being stared at and stuff, and just all kinds of stuff. Like, there's like this feeling of somebody watching you. I get that when I'm drunk and watching horror movies by myself at night.
Yeah, but
I'm not phobic though.
Right, yeah. Because you put yourself in a compromising position just for it. There's difference between searching for the thrill, but that is like a scary thing though, because even when I'm like fine, if I just like really sat and think about like, what if somebody's like watching me right now? Like, that creeps me out, but like, I'm not phobic of it because it's not a day-to-day thing that, like, I think about it and it scares me, but it's like, it's like,
you're not obsessing over it, and you're not like, and it's irrational. You know that there's not somebody in your closet watching you all the time, not to freak you out.
Yo, yeah,
I have a view on your closet. You're good. I don't see anybody.
Thank you, man. Yeah, well, I remember also too, it was like funny enough, like it was a couple episodes ago. I forget specifically which one, but like I woke up really early, or like was waking up in the middle of the night, because I was waking up at like the same time every night. And you're like, yeah, that's all good. Just make sure you don't open your window. And I was just like, you motherfucker. So,
I love doing that shit to you sometimes, man.
I woke up again. I was just like, God damn it.
Oh, that's great.
Son of a bitch. But yeah. Not a phobia. If you're scared of something and it keeps you up, or you watch a really fucking scary movie and it keeps you up for like a month, okay, maybe you're just easily frightened. Like, there's a difference. But
exactly.
If it goes away eventually, then cool. Yeah, you good.
You good. Exactly. And it's interesting you brought up a timeline. We'll get into that on our fourth point here.
Oh, interesting.
So third, the fear or anxiety and the avoidance that stems from it has to be clinically significant. And what that basically means is it disrupts your daily functioning if the phobic object or situation is encountered, or even the anxiety of running into it might get in the way of your day-to-day life.
And
There's
that's
a
also
spectrum. Some people think about it, and the anticipation of running into something irrationally might impair their day-to-day life.
Oh, it's funny. It's like last, obviously I'm more rested now, but like last week's episode, I was just so low on sleep all the time. And I finally got like the life lined up to where I could finally just like go to bed at a decent time. And it was weird because it was like the anticipation of possibly losing and not sleeping again made me anxious enough to not fall asleep, even though I was super, super tired. And it is that shit's so real though.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a symptom of GAD, homie.
GAD?
Yeah, generalized anxiety disorder, dog, which is something I need to talk about here real quick, guys. Is keep in mind that when people with phobias, highly comorbid with other anxiety disorders or mood disorders.
Right.
So
Yeah,
there's that too. That's
phobias
feeding into it.
Yeah, so phobias could also be, like you just said, the result of a pre-existing condition, something else that's causing it, and that in a weird way, one could think if you can manage the pre-existing condition, then the phobias, in theory, will go away.
Well, it's a little weirder than that because the comorbidity of this means that somebody might have GAD and somebody might have like a specific phobia as well, or multiple. But they're from different things. So like one could be from like a huge life stressor, and that's why they're like all stressed out all the time. And then the specific phobias, which we'll talk about in a second, usually stems from either traumatic events or learning, which is interesting. You can learn phobias as children. That's the big theory right now.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Holy shit! Wow, this is a really educational episode. Holy shit!
But like I said, I'm not trying to make it educational. All right, I'm just spitting facts, and that's the way. I mean, okay, what my book's called facts. I don't know. I'm not the one that wrote the book. I don't know.
Allegedly. Like, all right, now listener, everything you learned, just fucking forget it. You're not here to learn.
I like that. I'm trying not to break kayfabe so bad that I have to keep throwing that out there. All right.
Yeah. You're hanging in there.
God forbid our fan base finds out Nick's can read, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, cause I've been telling him this whole time I can't. So
yeah, I'm sure it would devastate them to know that you're literate.
Oh shit. Okay.
All right.
The fourth is that the fear or anxiety has to be persistent, which is in the definition, lasting for at least six months. But it's usually like a lifetime thing.
That's a good distinction, yeah. Because I mean, I watch horror films and it fucks me up, and I can't sleep. And for like, usually, like, even Amori, like that I actually fucked up my sleep for a little while. Half of it because there was some like actually scary things that happened in the game. But the other half is just because how like psychologically brutal it gets sometimes, where it's just like a sinkhole for your thoughts, man. You just get so stuck in it, and it keeps you up. And I couldn't look at me. That's okay. Mirrors is not a new thing for me. Like,
really?
Yeah, mirrors creep me out. Well, no, they don't. It's when I watch something or see anything that like has something spooky with mirrors. Then it's like, I mean, half my fucking room is mirrors because I have like one of those like slider closets where the doors are mirrors. And I mean, already out of habit, when I like wake up and I have to go to the bathroom or something, I just don't look in them. Like, it's just, if you don't see it, it's not there. But like whenever there's something like a game or like a situation where you look in a mirror and there's something there and then you look behind you and it's not, like that like fucking triggers me so hard. Like I get so like anxious about it, but it only lasts for like a week or two and then it goes away.
Right, a week or two after the stimulus that started it, and then you're good. So that's good. That means that you're coping with it. That's really good.
You can manage it. As a kid, though, oh, dude, there would be times where there was this one. It was a movie. Did you ever watch the movie Burnt Offering?
It sounds super familiar. Remind me of the premise.
Yeah, I didn't even watch it. Somebody just gave me the laydown of what happens because they knew I got scared easy. But it's about a family that moves into like a kind of like the old like backwoods like mansion or something like that because it was really cheap. Because it turns out the house is possessed and it slowly starts siphoning the life force of the people living there. And the house, like, as it, like, the people, like, get their life force taken, like, old parts of the house start looking new. Like, it starts, like, repairing itself. And it's like...
Oh, okay. I think I've heard of this. I've never seen it, but I've heard of it.
I hear it's, like, it's not, like, an amazing movie or anything like that. But hearing that plot line and, like, the fact there's, like, this guy who's, like, this, like, creepy, like, pale dude with, like, smiling at them. It's, like, I don't know what it was, but it just, like... It fucked up my sleep for like months as a kid. Like, and that was when like, but it's funny because then it was like, then the next thing that fucked me up, it only lasted like a couple more months. Like you said, I learned to cope. I learned to figure it out and how to deal with it and how to like, not be a big old puss.
A big old puss, huh? I like that. That's good.
So yeah, I relate to this episode a lot. Like, I think it's really interesting. I think it's really cool. And like, cause yeah, I was afraid of a lot of things, but not necessarily phobic. I think it's more of like a anxiety, like overactive imagination thing.
Yeah, no, that sounds just kind of like a general anxiety, but not bad enough to be a disorder. Yeah, which is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, the last diagnostic criteria, the fear or anxiety surrounding the object or situation cannot be explained better by another related disorder like GAD, PTSD, SAD, or OCD.
Okay, what is GAD and SAD?
GAD is generalized anxiety disorder, and SAD is social anxiety disorder. So but that's the tricky part here, though, is like we said earlier, people with phobias tend to have comorbidity with some of these other things. So how do you know what's what? And that's why it takes like different methods to like look and see if there's really one object that they're obsessing on. Or is it just because they're generally just anxious about everything? Like you have to kind of look at it that way.
Multiple angles. I like it.
Yeah, buddy. All right. Now, I think this is our last groundwork section here before we get into it. Let me double check. Yes, basically. All right, cool. So how do people get their specific phobias? Trauma, right? That's like probably one of the most well-known ways that people get it is because of something that happened in the past.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the biggest theory right now behind developing specific phobias is due to learning, which could stem from trauma. And there are 3 methods which could be attributed to the learning of phobias. The first is classical conditioning, which would relate mostly, in my opinion, to trauma, right? All of you out there know about Pavlov's dog. That's it. That's classical conditioning.
Like, this is like a morbid example, but it's like if whenever you like, stepdad, whenever he smokes a cig, whenever you smell that, like you're about to get the belt, like that's conditioning. Yeah. It's a really sad, unfortunate thing, but that's how that works. Like, so anytime, even when you're outside of the danger situation, when there's the thing that makes you think it's coming, like you'll tense up.
Exactly. So if you had a traumatic experience with something that's should technically be a neutral stimulus, like a fucking, I don't know, like a balloon, right?
Yeah.
And you had a traumatic experience, maybe you were conditioned through that experience to associate the balloon with something negative, and now as a child, and now you're afraid of balloons. And we will talk about that phobia because it is a real phobia.
Yeah, it's back because as kids, because your brains are sponges. You just soak everything in and just take it all in, and it just becomes part of you. Versus, in adulthood where things don't affect you as much. Like once you're pretty much set in your ways, you pretty much are like, you don't change too much more after a certain age. But yeah, so a lot of this can be developmental.
Yeah, that's the important thing to note too, is a lot of the times when we're talking about these phobias, they're developed in childhood. That's just the way it goes. Because that's when you're learning the most. And there's different theories about how you learn and how you cognitively develop. But the point is, it's when you're a kid. All right.
Makes sense.
The second method is modeling, and this is easy. If you see somebody freak out to a snake enough times as a kid, you'll probably freak out to a snake as well. It's simple.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, that's also how we teach kids. Like, when you see an adult be like, have a strong reaction, the kid will have a strong reaction because he saw the adult do it. Like, they just put it together, and you might not even understand why. It's just what I'm supposed to do. I don't know. It's all I know.
Yeah, man. Those mirror neurons, dog.
Crazy.
And the third is through verbal transmission. Sounds fancy, it's not. Basically, a young child hearing somebody talk about how scary something is, with enough of that going on, it will turn into an irrational fear of said thing. So instead of watching somebody react, they're listening to somebody react. Or like, let's say there's a dog and the mom is afraid that their kid's going to get attacked by a dog, or they have an irrational fear of dogs. They'll always be like, no, dogs are, that dog's gonna bite you, or blah blah blah. The kid's gonna grow up fucking afraid of dogs. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah, because their whole life they were told it was a terrifying thing. Also, and we can just gloss past this really quick, but like racism and homophobia and stuff, a lot of that is taught. Like a lot of it is parents saying these people are scary, they're evil, like they're coming to get you. They want to, which is couldn't be furthest from the truth. It's just they're just people like anybody else. But when you grow up around that, like, and you've never met anybody like that before, like what are you supposed to do? Like you can't, unless you're, you know how to use the internet and do your own research, which I highly doubt at the age of 4. We are a product of our environment.
Yeah, man. Dude, our discriminations, our prejudices, that's not 100%, I shouldn't say it, but it's very much social. And it's fucking, I just learned about that shit too in my social psych class. Dude, man, I got to stop taking, I'm done, dude. I'm dropping out, dude. I'm learning too much.
You just got to, look at this. There's like not even a full semester. You're already reading. You're already like knowing shit.
Dude, I want you guys to picture how smart I must be. I went from, like 2 months ago, not being able to read at all to now reading textbooks.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like you don't even wear the tinfoil hat as much as you used to.
I only do it when I have to like microwave. Wait, you can't put that in the microwave. Never mind.
No, that's dangerous.
Yeah, don't put tinfoil in the microwave.
Oh, God. All
right. So that's it for the diagnostic criteria. Now, real quick, before we hop into the actual phobias, here are some interesting facts about phobias that you guys might like. The blood, injury, and injection phobias, the BII phobias, are the only category of phobias that cause a decrease in blood pressure and can lead to fainting. The other ones lead to higher blood pressure and the activation of your sympathetic nervous system. So that's the only one that causes like they're opposites, which is I thought was neat.
Okay. Because I fucking hate needles. Like I hate getting my blood drawn. I hate like any of that. But you got to do it.
Got to do it, man. Got to do it. How are they going to check and see if you got AIDS or not?
You got to. It's a necessary evil, and that was just one of those where it's like I definitely didn't like it, but I had to just get over it.
Yeah, and you did, and that's healthy. That's good.
Yeah, and it's okay to not like things. You just just don't make it like you don't have to make a show out of it.
You don't have a goddamn panic attack every time you see a balloon.
Oh, I can't wait to get to
that. Also, BII phobias are more likely to run in families than other categories, which is interesting. I don't know if there's a reason behind that, but it just seems to be more genetically predisposed.
That's really interesting. Yeah. I don't know why that might be.
Another fact, people who have phobias are likely to have more than one phobia at a time. That's just kind of the way it goes. I can account for that. Now, I'm not officially diagnosed, but I meet the criteria for a couple, and we'll talk about that as we go through the list.
Cool.
And the last fact. Now, this is not meant to be sexist in any way, all right? It's just hard science. Okay. Right. Women are twice as likely to have phobias than men.
I see.
But that's not me saying that they're better than anybody else because I admittedly have phobias. So,
right.
And I'm not a lady.
Well, this is the first time like you're actually being like, it's a statistic. It's a fact. Like, you can finally, that thing you hate so much, you finally are understanding why we need them, right?
No. That was just me using it as a scapegoat to not be called sexist. Right, I don't care. Right. I don't care that it was statistics at all.
It was just a means to the end, huh?
Yep. Always is with me. Always ulterior.
Yeah. All right.
So that's it for the scientific crap. Thank you for, letting me do that, Let me get through but I think it's important to do that because we want to know what we're talking about, right?
Right. Yeah, we gotta go in with a little bit of a base, to catch all these drops of knowledge, a bit of a bucket, if I may.
Right, because I don't want people to think when we get to the goofier shit that these people are a bunch of losers. It's like no, it's a real thing. Something happened to them, and they're afraid of this. They're afraid of ants. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, exactly.
Now let's get into a bunch of different phobias and talk about what they are. What I figured I could do, or what we could do, is break them down into categories. So. Those 5 categories I mentioned earlier, that's what we're going to break them down by. And let's begin with the blood injury injection phobias first. Okay, now we're starting off strong with the pronunciations here.
Shit, yeah.
Ichmophobia. is
Sounds
the
good to me.
fear. This sounds good, right?
Yeah.
The fear of sharp pointed objects like needles and knives. Something that you guys will notice as we talk about these phobias is that there are phobias for more general objects, and then there are different phobia names for specific objects, which we'll see for needles coming up here. It's very interesting.
I see. Yeah, and I think some of us had this like as a kid, sort of, where you go to the doctors and you have to get a shot and you have like you just start screaming and crying. But I don't think that counts as phobia. I think that's just being a kid.
That's just a kid, yeah. But if something happens during that time that is just like really traumatic, like let's say they they go too deep or they hit the bone or something like that,
Yeah.
then you're gonna relate that with needles, and you're probably gonna grow up to have a fucking full blown panic attack every time you have to get your blood drawn.
Dude, you want to know how I figured out that needles weren't so bad?
How?
So when I was younger, I knelt over while I was cleaning my room, and a pencil broke through my jean pants and stabbed into my knee, and like a bunch of the graphite and stuff just got basically like injected in there. And there was a fucking lot, and like I couldn't like get it all out and stuff. So we went to the doctor, and they're like, "Well, we can dig it out, but like, we're gonna have to like, give you like a shot to like, numb it." And I was like, "I don't want shots. Like, just take it out. Like, I just want less needles, the better." And they're like, "Okay."
Damn.
Oh my god, having this doctor just like get like a scalpel and just start digging into my knee was holleringly painful. And that's when I was like, why the fuck did I didn't just take the fucking shot? Like, that was a dumb decision. Like, I can't. And from that point onward, I've been like chill with shots.
That's a good turning point.
Glad I learned it then, though, because, yeah, that shit hurts. Or that other time, one of my beard hairs got like in my skin like a splinter. And I couldn't pull it out because it was like hair. So it was like flimsy. And then my skin healed over it. And anytime I would touch anything, it was like this like shock of pain. And it just got so annoying because it's like in my finger that I just got a bottle of whiskey, just like slammed a couple gulps, and had to just that knife that you got me forever ago. I just had to do a little self-surgery.
Jesus.
That hurt so fucking bad, dude.
Jesus, man. It's like Evil Dead 2, dude. Cutting your own hand off and stuff. Good Lord.
Sometimes, and it fixed it.
I'm proud of you, man. I don't even know if I'd have the balls to cut my own finger open. Well, I don't know. Never been in that situation.
It sucks. Like it in a heartbeat, because dude, this thing had been like bugging me for like weeks. So there just came a point I was just it was like I was half mad because of it. And yeah, a couple glugs of whiskey, got something to bite down on, and you just start digging. Ugh. And it hurt. It hurts, man. I was definitely pussying out as much as I could, but I had to get it out.
Proud of you, buddy. Proud of you.
Thank you. It was probably the manliest thing I've ever done. Yeah, if you have a fear of pointed objects, sorry.
Yeah, there you go. See, you just fucking triggered somebody so bad just now.
Oh yeah, somebody just threw their like phone across the room.
Woo!
Nice.
Okay, now the next one is belonophobia. Belonophobia. Now, this is just a more specific one, but it's just the fear of needles. Okay, so the last one that was sharp objects, including needles. Now this one is just needles.
Okay, so last one could be knives, like if you were in a knife fight and stuff like that. Reasonably, you'd have a fear of knives. This one, though, is just like, doctors, needles, any of that, like the application of all that.
Right.
Ugh.
Hemophobia, as the name implies, it's just the fear of blood. Again, remember and that's why some people who have a fear of blood faint. Is remember the BII ones are the only ones that will cause a drop in blood pressure, so leads to fainting. That's why in the pop culture, if somebody's afraid of blood and they see it, they'll faint. As a joke, of course, but that's actually what could happen to somebody who has this.
And I feel like this one's a little bit more. I feel like we have all met somebody who just can't do blood, like at all. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't find it pleasant. I choose to avoid it when I can. But the situation calls for it. Like I remember when I was a manager at like my school's gym. That was part of my job, was to be able to keep my cool if somebody's like fucking bleeding out on the gym floor or something.
So, in that position, were you able to like drink any of it? Like, was it up for grabs when it was out of the body, or is that like frowned upon?
extremely frowned upon. It's also extremely rude to the person who's providing that blood. And plus, do you really want to drink fresh blood off of the gym floor? You know what goes on over there.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, nice try though. Yeah. I would say I would not recommend that.
I can't have our listeners thinking I'm too rational this episode. I have to start saying some weird shit.
Gotta dial it back. Gotta keep them on their toes.
Next one is tomophobia. It's the fear of, and this is a major one for this category, the fear of an invasive medical procedure or surgery. So anything basically that's cutting you open or anything you have to be under for, they will have full on freak out. Like they'll have phobic reactions to it. And it's, I mean, I get it, but not to that level.
I was going to say, yeah, to a degree, I can understand this. I don't have it, but like, I mean, nobody likes surgery. Like, nobody likes going under. Like, it's a huge pain in the ass and it fucking sucks. Like, the only thing that's like cool about it is if you're like a junkie like me and you just like, oh, well, at least I'll be like just high as tits for like a couple hours.
Yeah.
That's
Are you a junkie? I've known you for so long. I didn't know that you were a junkie, dude.
No, oh yeah, man, can't get enough of that fucking anesthetic. Just hell yeah.
Damn.
Too bad I can't afford it. No, that's not true at all. That is not true.
You guys heard it here first. Tasker's a goddamn druggie.
Yep, the confession. Yep. Holy shit. No, it's like the only thing that's like kind of fun about surgery is like, oh, you got to be like high, but like I feel like that's kind of like my like deflection to forget about the fact that I'm about to get my shit cut open, you know.
That's fair. I mean, that's a good trade-off, right? Getting your shit cut open, but you get to be high for a while.
Yeah. I mean, hey, you know, it's better than not being high for it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah. So tomophobia, I'd say that's pretty, you know, I don't get to that point. Like, I don't like freak out, have panic attacks, and like I need to be like get horse tranquilizer in order to like be put under for it. But like I can understand though, this being a more common one.
Absolutely. This is a little confusing. Okay. The next one is trypanophobia. This is the fear of needles and injections. Okay. So whereas the other one was just needles, this one I think is more geared towards like receiving shots for something. Like, so you know, like more of the chemical thing behind it. I think guys, remember, I'm not a goddamn professional. All right. This is my take on it. And I did not look all these up because there's numerous ones on this list, but this is my take on it.
And it looks like kind of like how we were kind of touching on where it's like they can kind of bleed over. Like it could be a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Like, and I feel like those two are kind of like hand in hand where it's like it could be one and the other, one or the other. It just kind of depends on the situation. Cause I could see one of them. It's like you see any pointed object and you're like, fuck, like don't like that. Yeah. Whereas this one is you could see pointed objects and like you can like, you know, use like a, you know, like a baster or something like that, or you can use like, you know, you could use it, but the idea of it being injected into your body makes you want to fucking like hurl. Okay, then maybe you have that.
That sucks. That sucks.
Bummer.
The next one is traumatophobia or injury phobia, and it's pretty self-explanatory. It is just the fear of getting any kind of injury.
Oh yeah, usually that kind of those people also kind of are the what is it, hypochondriacs, you know, that are just like think they're always getting sick. I also feel like they're always just like, oh, ow, that everything hurts. Like, oh, I bruise easy. Like, oh, and they're just like constantly like, is that kind of hand in hand with that?
Yeah. That's what I first thought of too, is hypochondriasis, or what I think it's now called is, because, you know, they're always changing terms. So I think I don't know why, to be more PC or to have a better definition, but the new name for that is illness anxiety disorder. So, but that's a somatic symptom disorder. So, or no, it's an anxiety disorder, but people who think that they have injuries, but aren't like, so let's say my tummy hurts like real bad, right? Like real fucking bad. Like it's something, I know something's wrong with me, but every time I go to the doctor and get a check and everything comes back squeaky clean, or stuff that does come back does not explain that. That's like somatic symptom disorder. It's a whole thing, man. I don't fucking know. I'm just spilling things that I've retained the last couple weeks on the microphone right now. And but basically the long and short of it is, yes, I think that fear of injury might, you know, it could possibly affect illness anxiety disorder or vice versa.
Okay, I can see that. And also too, there's like that distinction of thinking you've broken something versus I am afraid I might break something, so I never leave my room.
Right. Yes, that's an important distinction. This one is more preemptive. I think this one is like more like, hey, let's not fuck myself up at all. And the other one could do the same as well, though, because if you're anxious about getting an illness or an injury or something, it might lead you to the same habits. I don't know.
Interesting. Goes deep.
Goes deep. Now, the last one in our category here is aglophobia, which is the general fear of pain. So even if it doesn't really cause injury, just the fear of pain is enough to make you phobic.
Yeah. So I guess in this situation, because obviously, like we state with a lot of these things, nobody likes pain. Like, it's not something like, even when you go to the gym, no pain, no gain. I mean, the part about the pain that makes it good is because you know that what you're doing is working, and therefore that pain is more enjoyable. But, it still hurts. That's why we fucking skip leg day every now and again. That's why we fall off. Yeah. Nobody likes pain. But if somebody comes up and flicks you and then you just start ball and freaking out or something like that, that might be a phobia.
That might be a no bueno, because think about it, man. You experience pain, even minimal amounts of pain on a day-to-day basis. You might stub your toe, which fucking hurts.
Oh, man.
So imagine somebody with aglophobia stubbing their toe.
I had like the king of stub toes the other day. Well, it was like a couple months ago, but I was like closing like a window or something, and then my water was going off, so it's like the steam noise, and then I was like, oh shit! So I just like,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but when you said your water was going off, I thought because I'm also learning about like child development, so I just automatically thought, I was like, dude, holy shit, your water broke?
Yeah, it was fucking brutal, man.
Oh.
No baby either, so I guess I just pissed myself. Which was a huge relief, as you might expect.
Yeah, dude, your balls were empty after. Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Oh man, holy shit. But my boiling water was done, so I was like, oh, should I like heard it? And sometimes I kind of like get like a hop start or something like that when I'm like home alone, because whatever, man. I'm trying to get there quick. But the thing is in my like little hop that I did, my foot caught a weight, like there was a weight on the ground, and I stubbed my toe, and I like a rake like went just down, and my knee slammed against the ground and like broke my toenail and stuff. It fucking holy shit. It was it was also when I was in like the worst shape of my life too, like a couple months ago. So I was just this like ball of just like fat and just anguish on the ground, just like blubbering like a fucking walrus.
Mother, I'm falling. I can't get up.
Mother, help! I fell in it. It hurts.
A little help, please.
So I try to just knuckle through the pain. It's like, come on, man, just let's get as much dignity out of this as we can.
So then imagine that same situation, but somebody's got aglophobia. They're probably just like full-blown panic, man.
Oh, they would just probably pass out. Like you said, this is one category where you can.
Yep, exactly. Now, we are going to move on to the next category. I did want to give the caveat real quick, guys. I took a giant list of phobias and categorized them myself. I'm not perfect at this. So if there's something, if you guys are like psychologists out there, all right, and you're like, hey, that doesn't belong there, I'm sorry, all right? Some of these kind of overlap a little bit with other ones, and it's like, I tried my goddamn best, okay?
Yeah, and I'm sure most people, it's like, we just want to hear the phobias and stuff like that. And
that's true.
I gotta say, did you alphabetize these?
Yes.
Oh, wow, look at you. God damn. So it's just very cathartic? Is that the right? No, I don't know if that's the right word.
Is it aesthetically pleasing?
It is aesthetically pleasing.
I just learned the alphabet, so I'm practicing.
This episode's our Hooked on Phonics final. So if we fuck this up, we have to repeat it and do it again next semester.
All right, so for the next category, we'll be talking about situational phobias, and there are a lot more of these than the BII ones. Aerophobia, that is the fear of aircraft and flying.
Oh, I think that's super common.
Very, 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 very common. I don't have it. I don't think I meet all the criteria, but I fucking hate flying. I will do it. I will do it if I have to, and I will do it. But for the first half of the flight, I am kind of like a little ball of stress, but then I chill out after a while. So I really don't think I have the phobia.
Yeah. Plus, it's a lot easier when you're over 21. You could just order like a whiskey sour or something like that. You're good to go.
That's a good point. Yes, that does help.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, see, like I don't mind flying. It's just that whole like the biggest part to get to. It's just don't think about it. Don't think about the fact that if this machine doesn't work, then I'm dead.
Yeah, and so I think that this is a very, very common fear. The phobia itself, though, I mean, it's probably quite common as well, but you won't see them because most of the time these people will go out of their way to not fly anywhere. They will take a car, they'll take a train, they'll do something else to not fly.
Yeah, they'd rather do the 7-day drive than take the flight, which I mean, okay.
That's a real phobia. That's how you know it's real, is when you're like, you know what? I could pay like $150 for this trip and do it in 6 hours. How about I pay a bunch more money and do it in like 4 days? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty distinct. And that's also, they say it's a good sign of addiction too. When you're doing things that like go super out of your way to like get to this thing, that's usually the point where you're like, yeah, when it gets in the way of like your regular social, like your regular day to day, you know?
Yeah, man. Anything impairing, that's no bueno.
Yep. Problematic.
All right. This is kind of a big one. Agoraphobia. Now, this is the fear of open spaces, but there's more to it. Okay. So now most people think that agoraphobes just don't like to leave their homes, but that's actually a byproduct of it. So agoraphobia is basically the fear that that you cannot escape from an area if there is an emergency. Something like that along those lines, where you can't escape from a crowded space, open space, whatever. Now, this is one of those complex phobias that I mentioned earlier, but I put it in situational for brevity and so we could talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's important to note that a lot of the times, like I love Family Guy, as you guys sure can tell from my humor. I'm sure I love Family Guy. Now, there's an episode where there's an old lady who has agoraphobia, and they say in the show, and she never leaves her home, but they never address why. And it's so a lot of people think because of pop culture that agoraphobes just don't like to leave their house. That's a symptom of agoraphobia. That's not what it is.
Right.
So that's important to note.
Yeah, that's crazy. So it's like their house to them is it's their safety zone, and that's from the outside world, which they feel is infinitely expansive and too big, and they don't like that.
And they can't escape if they have to. Like, they feel like there's not like an exit. Yeah, it's very, very deep. It's a very deep one. Yeah.
Yeah. So easy fix. Go just fucking rob their house and make them not feel safe there either.
Oh, you son of a bitch. you I'm in. That sounds great.
We're here to help. You can actually call if you donate to us $42.42. That's the signal, and just post your address on the coffee, and we'll help you out.
Oh, you sick son of a bitch. I love it.
Terrible.
The next one is agriophobia. Agriophobia. What do you think?
Agriophobia, yeah.
Okay. Agriophobia, which is the fear of crossing streets.
I mean, I don't want to get hit by a car.
I mean, me neither, man. But I'll still jaywalk. Like, I think the problem with agriophobes is like they'll see a completely empty street but won't do it. There's like a block for them.
They're like, yeah, I don't give a shit because what's coming. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, maybe I see. Yeah. So that's pretty distinct if you have that, huh?
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty distinct. And yeah, definitely. So the next one is atelophobia, which is the fear of imperfection.
Whoa, that's vast.
Very vast. And I think it could be for all facets of life, or it could attest to it. So like fear of imperfection of your work, your relationship status, so you know?
Yeah.
like
so
yourself.
it's like the less ego version of like being a perfectionist, where in that one, it's like a way of control, I think. Whereas this is like, I fear that is imperfect.
Yes. I think, or like, I don't know if it has to do with what you do or what other people do, or both. But if it has to do with what other people do, or even with what you do, I think that could go hand in hand with OCD and these obsessive thoughts of like different of how things should be, and like and obsessing over them. But that's just like I'm just throwing that out there. I have no idea.
Yeah, I was gonna say, or you're just an asshole and you just expect way too much of other people.
Now that's a perfectionist. That's an asshole. Yeah.
So basically, if you're a perfectionist and not a dick about it, you probably have atelophobia. If you're an asshole about it and you're like just rub it, you're just an asshole.
Yeah, you're just a dickhead.
Yeah.
Autophobia is the fear of isolation, which is understandable. I mean, like we're very social creatures, and but I think this is like, if I'm like alone, people start to panic. Like they can't be alone.
Oh yeah, it's those like hard ego-driven extroverts where they need to be around people. They need to be not even necessarily in the center of the spotlight, but like they need that extra attention because they've always been surrounded by it. That's their way of, that's what charges them. That's what gives them energy. They don't find people exhausting. They find them endlessly fascinating and invigorating and stuff like that. And when you take that away, which I'm sure hits home for some of y'all out there, because with COVID, where isolation is just, you just had to, like that must have been a possibly traumatizing experience.
Must have been a nightmare, because also I think that autophobes, they might be nervous about what'll happen to them if nobody's there to help them, right? That kind of stuff. Like I think because isolation is a super broad term, so it could be extroversion. It could be because they're afraid of something happening to them, like choking and nobody's there to help them, like that kind of shit that people will obsess over and become phobic about, which is really sad, because people who have that, I mean, there's times in your life when you're alone physically. So,
you just kind of got to deal, but like, that's crazy. And okay, so I could see it. So it's not so much of that these people are actively alone. They're just afraid of a situation that might lead them to be alone.
Or like a situation, like a dangerous situation and nobody's there to help. But again, guys, I'm not a professional. I'm just spitballing ideas here. I'm looking at it like that. So
I think the choking one I think that's the most like, that makes sense. Cause I've thought about that too, where I almost choked on a sandwich at midnight. I was just like, dude, nobody would have been there to help me.
Dude, I almost choked last night when I was eating and I was by myself. And after that, I did watch YouTube videos on how to perform a self Heimlich maneuver just to be safe.
Gotta have a chair handy, man.
Gotta have a chair handy, homie.
Yep.
Now, this next one is something that Tasker and I talked about before doing the outline, and I did put it in here just for him. Chorophobia, the fear of dancing. Tasker, take it away.
I totally have this. Like, no joke. Like, it's kind of hard to really pinpoint it, and it wasn't until like recent that I kind of being in a committed relationship, not being a dancer kind of, and that's always, I just chalked it up to, I'm just not a dancer. I just don't like it. But it wasn't until we were at like a wedding and like I had to, and like it was like fucking like heart rate skyrocketed. Like I was like almost shaking. Like it was like, it just felt super, super, super uncomfortable. And it's weird because it's not like there was any like specific like real reason for it, I guess. Like, because there've been times where I was like fine with it, but like it's like this weird like to me, at least in my specific situation, it's this idea of like being judged even though nobody's judging you, or this idea of like making an ass out of yourself, or this idea of just like everybody looking at me like, look at this guy, like, wow, he's really bad at it. That's really funny. And it's like, normally, like, I don't care about being like the butt of jokes. Like, I'm all for comedy and making people laugh, but something about like dancing like treads this weird line with like my actual ego, and I'm not really sure like why. And it wasn't until recently when we got to talking about this, I was like, oh shit, this might actually be like a legit like a phobia that I can work on and stuff. And actually, I was looking at, now that we were like doing this episode, I did kind of look some stuff up, and what they say actually a great way to work on it is VR.
VR is making a lot of headway in therapy for all kinds of stuff, because especially for phobias, because it puts you in a situation where you can address it and come face to face with it without actually having to come face to face with it. Totally. So VR has been very, very helpful for phobia therapy.
Oh yeah, because it's like you got to do the thing with a bunch of just like digital ones and zeros. Nobody's there to see you, and it's like, even if you feel like they're judging you, like they can't, like they're not alive, like they're not real. I'm not like even attached to like the internet. Like it's just, and they say, yeah, it's like, and I know in more like, like confrontational cases, they say that you can go to like special like things where it's like the light's really low, so you can't like see anybody. So that way it's like, and it becomes more of a like less of a social thing and more of like a just an experience in and of itself. But yeah, that's something that's been like, and it does like fuck me over. Like there's a lot of situations where it's like I'll be at weddings and like I can't dance. I just don't. It just makes me so anxious, and it makes me so like irrationally afraid, like to a point where it's like it's debilitating. Like I'll 100% say it's debilitating. Like, and it fucking sucks because it's like I want to have fun with everybody, but it just feels like it's just this one thing I can't do.
Yeah, man. And so exactly, it sounds to be like you have chorophobia, due to the imaginary audience, right? That idea that people, all eyes are on you, but yeah. So thank you for opening up to us today, Tasker.
Oh, of course. Yeah. And I didn't even realize there's like a whole community of people who have this shit. There's a couple famous people that have it too, that were like open about it and stuff. And it's like, and I mean, I'm not one to like use terms as like my shield. Like, oh, I can't, I'm sorry, I'm a chorophobic. Oh, you need to be sensitive. It's like, no, I know it's fucking irrational as fuck. And it's like, sometimes it's just, it just kind of makes you a bit of a downer. And it's like, it just kind of is what it is. But like, it just, I don't know. It's a weird psychological thing where you just get put into this like, oh, everyone knows how rigid I am. And by being more anxious about it,
you become more relaxed. Yep. It's a fucking catch-22, man.
Right.
Of anxiety.
Yep. Yeah. It's just that weird thing of like, I don't mind being laughed at, but being laughed at about dancing just fucking grinds my gears. I don't know.
Well, thank you for opening up to us today, Tasker. With that, I mean, it's not an easy thing to talk about, right?
It's an odd thing to talk about, and it's definitely something I've been like I said, like I've been griping with this, and you know me, I always get weird whenever it was like, like a dance thing or like everyone's having fun, and I just kind of you'll find me just like standing off to the corner, and there's probably a lot of listeners out there who do know what that's like.
But now you guys know you're not alone, because look, if a specific phobia has a name, that means that enough people have it for it to have a name. Okay. Yep, so that's just the way it goes. Yay. So good for you.
I'm so quirky. I have phobias.
But it's like a dancing, not to diminish it at all, but I'm just saying it's like,
I'll take fucking this over like agoraphobia any day, man. I consider myself lucky that this is the only thing I fucking like,
because luckily for you, your phobia is quite easy to avoid. Situations where you have to dance, because nobody's gonna put a gun to your head and be like, dance, bitch,
Yeah, show me your best soft shoe.
Yeah. do a crip walk, and nobody's gonna ask you to do any of that.
Those Fortnite dances, you're going down.
So I mean, it still sucks though, and it hurts social situations in which dancing, like you said, weddings is traditional. Right. And absolutely. So I can see that. And people don't understand the gravity of the situation. So that can lead to you feeling more judgment. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah. And it definitely does, like, with a lot of these things, like it's almost like it's a snowball effect where it's like the longer it's been going on and the more situation that perpetuates it, it's almost like the harder it is to unravel it and stuff like that. And I'm grateful that like the worst of it is the fact that like, oh, people are like, oh, yeah, it doesn't really like dancing. Like, kind of lame, but like, I'm not going to lose friends over it,
Right. Yeah. But it still sucks. So I appreciate the fact that you're open about it. And yes, I'll admit in the past, before I was more sensitive to this kind of stuff, I used to pressure you to do it all the time. I used to be like, come on, don't be a pussy. Yeah, that was my bad. So I take that back.
But I fought back. If you remember, I always was like, Nick, go fucking eat a dick. Like, But it was also at the same time, though, I actually wouldn't even call it dickish at all, because I needed the push. And it was just, there it comes. Because here's the thing, and I think a pitfall that a lot of people fall in is, I have this phobia, therefore, if you push me into anything close to this, you're being like fucking what's the word? Like you're
antagonistic.
Yes, it's like you're sort of like, oh, you're triggering me. You're triggering. Like, no, like no. I know this is something I need to get over. I know this is something. It's not like I'm not making it a bigger deal than it needs to be. Is basically the point I'm trying to say here. And I'm like, so being pushed in. I mean, yeah, like I could say the same thing about when I'm at like a wedding with my girlfriend and she wants to dance, and I need to dance with her like at least once or twice because that's, because she's my girlfriend. I want her to have fun, and I don't want her to like, I could get over my shit for like a couple minutes. And there are sometimes it's easier than others. Like sometimes it's like I start to relax and kind of get the groove. And that's actually been super helpful, is because I know for a fact she's there to help me. She's there to, and it's weird how much that shit counts when you're in like an anxious space,
What are the different situations that cause it to be easier than others? Have you noticed any differences?
One is when you were in the middle of a really, really big crowd. That makes it a lot easier for me because there's a much bigger like anonymity there. When there's not a lot of people on the dance floor, it's like a full blown like freak out, like not freak out. That's exaggeration, but like to the point where I just like freeze. Like I'm just like I don't want to do this. Like that's how I got away with it at school dances because you just go right in the middle where you can't even tell who's who, and then it's a little bit easier to like relax because, like you said, it's that internal audience. I think that's really the root of the problem.
Interesting. I used to go into the middle of school dances as well, but that's because that's where all the twerking was going on, and I didn't want to get in trouble. You know what I mean? Grinding on some ladies.
That also too. There was a point where my horniness superseded my phobia. I was like, I can fucking
because grinding isn't really dancing anyway. So that's just kind of like, that's anybody. That's just a good time.
Oh yeah, and back then it's like I had like a girlfriend, and there was just like a guaranteed dance partner and stuff like that, and. Yeah, then I was like, okay, all right, this isn't so bad. Like, literally, all you have to do is hold their hips and don't fall, and you win. Like,
and don't get an erection, for the love of God.
Although if you're dating them, you can.
That is a good point.
True, you just got to cover it up afterwards. Which, if you don't, God, that takes me back to like being in PE class. You're wearing gym shorts, and you just get like one of those random boners. And then they just finish roll call and everyone has to stand up and you're just like, oh boy. All right, waistband, how much can you hold?
Yeah. No, I remember those days. I got pantsed once in PE, early high school before I was big and could handle myself. And they went for my PE shorts, but the underwear came down too, and it was in front of like how they used to have us all sit in groups before we would start PE every class. Yeah. It was in front of everybody sitting down. My fucking dick and balls popped out.
Did you have a boner when it happened?
No, but I got a boner immediately afterwards. No, I'm just kidding.
Like, all eyes on me, eh?
Hey, just stand there and watch.
That's how people become flashers.
Oh man, that was a good tangent we went on. I think that was good. For you.
I think it's appropriate. I think it helped me a lot. And that's dude, that fucking sucks though. I didn't know that happened to you.
Oh,
which is good because that means the word didn't spread.
Yeah. That's because it's nothing noticeable down there. Just kind of like whatever, So not too small, not too big. You know what I mean? It doesn't really stand out much. Yeah.
Pretty typical. Hey man, that might have saved your ass because imagine that happening and you just have like micro penis. Like it's over. It is over. But on the reverse end, if you're like a shower, like damn, then now you might have just earned yourself a date to the prom.
Yeah, and I'm uncut, so
yeah.
I don't know if that's good or bad. Honestly, I have no idea. I'm not Jewish though. With nothing wrong with being Jewish, but I'm not. But I'm circumcised.
Yeah.
Not that anybody needed to fucking know that. Like that's not like our whole audience is like, oh, I wonder if they're fucking they have foreskin. I don't know.
Yep, exactly. Who was it? They try to perpetuate a fake a myth on TikTok that guys foreskins grow back and we have to trim it every Thank fucking God, no. Hell no.
Oh, could you imagine? Anyway, all right, let's move on to the next one. But that was I'm glad we stopped there and talked about chorophobia for a while. That was good.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Chronophobia is the fear of time and, more specifically, time moving forward.
Ooh, man,
that's an existential one. That's deep.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's a thinking man's phobia for sure.
A thinking man's phobia. That's great.
But yeah, it's a shitty concept of like 1 minute after the next is a minute gone and you don't get time back. Like it's like that one time, what was it? I saw this thing and I sent it to you, where it was that really creepy idea of time travel of what if going back to the past was possible, But if you went back to the past, it's like you're there in the year 1970, but there's just nothing. Nobody's there.
That's creepy.
Yeah. Because it makes sense. Time moves forward and doesn't. So why would they still be there? Like if you go back to the past, everything will just be as it has been because the time already happened.
So it hurts my brain, man.
It's harsh, but it's just, that was one of those things I was just like, that's a really cool idea. But yeah, no, that idea of like, time just slipping by you. And then I think that's also a thing that might happen when like older in age, when like, the clock's ticking and you don't always have like, if you're in like 70 plus or something like that, like that's when people kind of start kicking, like kicking the bucket. I mean, like it's just, and you don't know how much time you have left. And some people that could get extremely terrifying where every minute they freak out because they're like, there's another minute gone. But then the irony is that by being so anxious, I think is a similarity with a lot of phobias, is the irony of it is every single minute you're freaking out about it is a minute you could be like, making the most of it. Like with time, when you're freaking out about every minute passing, it's like that's preventing you from your fear of not enjoying your time. Well, you're not enjoying your time because you're just freaking out about it.
Right. Yeah. It's a conundrum, and it's really, but that's the irrationality of this, right? That's where it becomes an obsession and a fixation about a certain topic. And they know that they're irrational. They know that their time can be spent better, but they can't help it. They can't help the fact that every minute that passes is 1 minute closer to death or 1 minute closer to something that they're not looking forward to,
Yeah. Dude, fucking obsession is such a slippery slope, like in any form. Like, I don't know. I'm obsessed with Squid Game. Sure, because it's a fucking cool show. But when I'm talking obsession, I mean like when people get like, obsessed with like their crush, they get obsessed with it. It's almost like the first step towards like a phobia or like a much more like serious, like,
OCD.
Like an OCD thing, or like when somebody becomes like a stalker. That like obsession is so fucking dangerous. And I feel like a lot of people like don't understand like how dangerous obsessive thoughts are. Like,
and they can be they can be thoughts that are so irrelevant to your life. I read a story about a guy who had multiple obsessions. He had OCD, multiple obsessions about things that never occurred. For instance, he was obsessed with the idea that he was a pedophile, even though he was not a pedophile. Like he was afraid. So he would avert being around kids or, looking at pictures, even though he wasn't a pedophile. He would like be afraid he was and obsess on that thought.
Something would snap in his brain. And then now he's a pedo and now he's a monster.
So he would have, and then his compulsiveness of the OCD was that he would avoid everything that had to do with like kids. Because of that obsessive thought. So it could be completely irrelevant and just take over somebody's life. It's very scary.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Like, and it's always, I remember I learned this, somebody brought this up about how it's really difficult for men to be elementary school teachers because there's such a stigma that men are not to be trusted around children. And it's just like this thing that just we have as people where we just trust women with children more than we trust men with them. And that it's really hard to be a male elementary school teacher because everyone just assumes they're gonna like they're there for like evil reasons.
Diddling,
and it's
which is unfortunate because I mean, I get where society's coming from because I mean, hey, we have those prejudices. That's just it's ingrained in society. That's just the way it is. But but when you look at it rationally, it's like that's kind of fucked up. Like
it's
you can't I can't walk down the street and say what's up to some little dude where, and without his mom looking at me like I'm trying to kidnap him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's like, cause it's hard because it's like, there are like if I had a kid and some random dude like came up to him and started talking to him, I kind of be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what do you guys trading Yu-Gi-Oh cards? Like
no, totally. It is a major catch-22 situation where I don't know. I don't know of a solution. I mean, my third grade teacher was a guy, and he was one of the best fucking teachers I ever had. He was awesome.
I've had fantastic male teachers. So I don't know, man. I think it's a stigma. It's a huge stigma, and it's unfortunately one that's not going to be solved, especially not right now with the way that the PC culture is. So
it is just a fucking dumpster fire right now. Nothing's getting fixed right now.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. We have a lot to get through, and we're about an hour and a half in.
Oh, yeah. We got to start blasting.
Gamophobia is the fear of marriage. I know I got that one. Just kidding.
But yeah. Well, that one's yeah, it's a lifelong commitment. I mean, obviously, like, oh yeah, Tasker, the marriage rate is still like only like 30% success. Yeah, shut the fuck up. Like, I know. Like, the idea though is that marriage is supposed to be a lifelong commitment. Then that's lifelong anything. When anything that lasts forever is not a very fun thought to have. Like, even if it's like supposedly supposed to be like a good thing, like, locking, like some people, like, like swingers and stuff like that, they get married, but they still like fuck around. And that's the agreement they came up with. But like somebody like me, for example, like I'm down for the idea of marriage. Like, that sounds fucking great. I don't ever have to fucking date again. I found somebody I'm happy with, and it's not about perfection of we get along on everything. And it's like the honeymoon phase never ended. It's the fact that we help each other when shit goes bad, just as much we as enjoy each other when shit's going good. Now that sounds
Right.
dang to me.
Yeah, exactly. But some people are just like, yo, I not doing it, man. Just like, that is too much. Yeah. That's too much commitment.
Oh yeah, well, there's also like the guy you were saying who's like scared that he might become a pedophile. There's some people that might be scared that they might become just like a dry old cranky man who like hates his wife and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, and that can turn into a phobia.
Yep. Gelato. No, that doesn't sound right. Galotophobia. Gelotophobia.
Galotophobia or gelotophobia. One of those.
It's the fear of being laughed at, which is, we all have that fear, especially when we're younger. But
yeah,
when it turns into you not doing anything that could even remotely cause it and you're avoiding it at all costs. And then if it does happen, it's devastating to you. That's a phobia.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I could see this being like the byproduct of like being humiliated. Like, you're the butt of like a huge prank at school and everyone's just like cracking up at your expense, and it becomes like yeah, you probably that probably makes you a little bitter.
That's how villains are born, man.
Yep, exactly. And it's like, and this is a little different, a fear of being laughed at versus like, there's also just some people just have a poor sense of humor. They just don't like laughing, and they don't want people laughing at them, because to them it's like, if you're laughing at me, to me, I take that as disrespect, as you telling me that like I'm not to be taken seriously. And that's usually because that person takes himself way too seriously and needs to take a goddamn chill pill.
That's right.
The fucking program.
Get with the program.
Oh yeah. Like, it's like this weird, like, it's almost like a violent introversion of, hey, you trying to have fun and you like trying to be like a cool, civil, like respectable person makes me offended. And therefore, they get all like try to act all scared. I think I hate people like that.
Yeah. A bunch of assholes, man.
Yeah, but that's an interesting one. And I think it's also a rejection of society kind of thing, because not growing up, I mean like when mankind was growing up in like caveman times, if you were rejected by your society or your group, you're dead. So I think a lot of that might stem from that too.
That's an interesting thought. Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Jeffrey Bezos. Jefferophobia is
Jefferophobia. Yeah, I think
the fear of bridges. That's a pretty self-explanatory one.
Yeah,
I could see
up
that
there with heights. Yeah, also too, because bridge. Same with airplanes. Yeah, this bridge breaks, I'm dead. So
yep.
Okay, yeah, not completely irrational. Kind of, it makes sense.
Geraskophobia is the fear of growing old or aging, which is also, I don't have that phobia, but I definitely don't want to do that. But
yeah, I'm more pissed about it. It's more annoying to me than it is like something I fear, because it's just, sometimes it's just fearing the inevitable just becomes a chore, and you're just like, whatever, man. Like, though I am looking forward to the salt and pepper phase. Like, I can't wait to get a little gray in my beard. That'll be kind of cool. I'm gonna enjoy that. But I mean, I think this is kind of goes hand in hand with the fear of death and a fear of just losing your mobility and losing your just motor skills.
Yep. Gerontophobia is also the fear of growing old, but it could also be the fear or hatred of old people in general. Now look, I don't hate old people, but they're in my way a lot. They smell weird, and they don't bring a lot to the table.
Yeah, there is I remember, I think I was talking to my mom or something about this, but like there is like a major stigma against like older people.
Yep.
And some older people are just like get in your face about it and are really, because there's just like this also like entitlement also, because societally, generally respecting your elders was like a big thing. But we also live in a society now where it's a little bit more commonplace that respect isn't necessarily just deserved inherently. You kind of have to earn it. So if you're an old person and you're just a complete shit bag, like, I mean, any of us who work retail have met one or two of those, you know, where just because they're, you know, they're on welfare or something like that, they feel like everyone needs to kowtow to them. They need to get all the best service, and they bitch at everybody. It's like, dude, like, no, like, that's not how that works. But
I'm not afraid to tell an old person off. Like, if I have to, I will straight up tell them, look, you smell like mothballs, and you fucking, your hair is you know, it's just like, dude, they're so, I don't want to get too much into it because it's off. Of course I'm joking, but like half of this is coming from truth. Like old people gross me out. And they smell weird. Like the smell, like if I, like when an old person walks by me, and you know that smell I'm talking about?
Sort of, yeah.
God, it's just, anyway, let's move on. I'm getting angry.
The classic Nick roast of the old people.
Punching down. The next one is something that Tasker definitely has. It's genophobia or coitophobia, which is, of course, the fear of sexual intercourse.
Of course, man. It's the fucking worst thing on the planet. All the sexually charged milking table conversation we have in here clearly indicates my immense dislike of anything sexual.
You're overcompensating for your own fear. Yep. It's okay.
Deflection. You're deflecting. But that is that's an actual thing. I mean, like, unfortunately, tends to be the byproduct of rape victims, because why wouldn't they, you know?
Right. Yeah, that's why I kind of felt bad making jokes about it, but I still kind of had to because it's sexual and we have like lowbrow humor on the show. But
very true.
But I think yes, you're right. It is a sad truth that this one most likely stems from sexual abuse or sexual assault. Right. So that's very sad.
Yeah, totally. Because it's a sexual anything is a very intimate, like, you're putting your guard down like hard for any of this, like in some shape or form. So it's like, you know, when that sanctity gets disrupted, just as the same as like if somebody broke into your house, suddenly your house doesn't feel safe anymore. Mm-hmm. And what's supposed to be a safe space doesn't feel safe anymore. Like, you know, that can super impede, like, you know, your sexual health.
And there is a phobia for fear of homes too. I didn't put on the list because I already put about a fucking billion of them on this outline, but I did see it on the list. So there is a fear of homes, which could stem from break-ins. So yeah.
So interesting. So I think we handle that tastefully. Let's move on before we ruin it.
Let's do it. Glossophobia is the fear of public speaking or of trying to speak and not being able to when needed.
This shit, dude, is so real. Like, I don't have this problem. I actually enjoy public speaking a lot, but there was a girl, and it was like a public speaking course that you had to take as like gen ed at community college. And this poor girl, oh man, it was like she wasn't even doing that bad, but at one point she just started sobbing, just still trying to get through her speech, just sobbing. Like, voice is shaking, tears are streaming down her face. Like, this girl looked like she was gonna collapse at any second. And like,
see, that's it right there. That's the definition of having a phobia, but not being able to avoid it. So that's what it looks like when you confront a phobia, and it's highly distressing. That is the definition right there. That's sad, man.
Yeah, and it's also crazy too, because confronting a phobia doesn't always fix it. Sometimes it makes it worse. Like,
especially super heavy exposure. Like even in therapy settings, if you don't do, like, some people react better to incremental rather than just straight up flood therapy, they call it. So yeah, man, it could make it worse. It sucks.
Well, that's like, I always use this analogy a lot to talk about, like, whenever I try to explain like social anxiety and stuff like that, is what tends to happen, and I think this is a pretty dang real situation, is say it's like you haven't been out and about for like years. You just locked yourself away, and maybe you didn't have very many friends, and then you finally get invited to a party, and you're like, I'm going to go to this party, and I'm going to have fun, and I'm going to kill it, and I'm going to feel so much better about myself, and it's just going to be like, I'll prove that I can, to myself, that I can be social and fun. But when the idea in your head of succeeding at a party means, like, you know, you get laid, or like, you know, you're the life of the party, it becomes an unrealistic expectation that you set up. So you just when you don't achieve this impossible, you go in with an impossible goal, and when you don't achieve it, you just set yourself up to fail and perpetuate the cycle. Oh, this is why I don't like parties. Oh, this is what it's like. It's like you also got to set like reasonable goals and stuff like that. Because if your goals are impossible, you're never gonna break out of it.
Right. Exactly, dude. Always set realistic goals to help your self-esteem, and that's the best thing you could do. Because setting too high of goals and of course failing, whether you do it on purpose to know you'll fail to like perpetuate that or not, it's going to hurt your self-esteem. So it's a vicious cycle, and you have to be very careful.
Always have that preference for small guaranteed successes than a high chance of failure.
Amen, dude. And when it comes to higher stuff, my rule of thumb is, and I think I've said that to Tasker in the past, is my rule of thumb is to hope for the best, but expect the worst, because it makes the impact of failing that much less,
Yeah, also so you don't fall apart when it happens. It's like it's kind of a contingency plan.
Oh yeah, I'm all about contingency plans.
Hell yeah.
All right, next up is gymnophobia, which is the fear of being nude or of nudity in general.
I think this is another one more common than people think. Like with like sexuality especially, like some people are, I think it can kind of also just, sometimes you're just self-conscious, and like, yeah, we all are. And it's like, and it sucks if like you have a partner too that like, isn't sensitive to like how you look and stuff like that. Like I remember I dated a girl who didn't even think I was attractive. And that was the weirdest shit ever. Yeah.
Yikes.
That was, and then you kind of hit a point where you're just like, and it fucking, like when you're in a situation where it's like your own significant other doesn't think you're attractive, like that hurts, man. They're just like, what the fuck?
So what do we? Yeah, you're like, so what are we doing here then?
Yeah, yeah. And it was after I figured that out, I think we ended up like breaking up like shortly after, because, that's just not a great, healthy, spot to spend a lot of time with somebody.
Not at all. Haphophobia is the fear of being touched.
Death Stranding. The main character has that.
Don't know it.
Yeah, Hideo Kojima with the.
Oh, you lost me.
Developer.
You lost me.
What about Norman Reedus? You know who he is, right?
Oh, from the Walking Dead, right?
Yeah, it's the game where he's just like, it's the fucking walking simulator, but it's like the world between the living and the dead is like severed, and now like spirits are coming back as like antimatter entities, and if you touch them or like it'll just like create like almost like a nuclear explosion or something. It just devastated the planet.
It's an anime thing.
No, I think it was a joint effort. Hideo Kojima from Japan, obviously. Guillermo del Toro, he worked on it a lot. In fact, he plays one of the characters, or he's like modeled after one of the characters. So yeah, it's not fully Japanese.
Oh, good.
Anyways,
I'm just kidding. That's fine. It's fine.
Right.
They bring a lot of good to the table.
that you part Japanese, you should think at least some of it is good.
The food is all right.
The food is pretty good. Now that I can eat fish, by the way, I found out I wasn't allergic, and I'm good to go. So I'm excited. So there goes all your murder plans are out the window.
Damn it, dude! I was gonna poison you with bumblebee tuna.
Yep, but nope. Holy shit, we have so much to go.
Yeah, I said, guys, look, I got a shit ton down here, and I did not expect us to be picking them apart as insightfully as we have been, which is not a bad thing. I think we've been doing a very good job of looking at each of these in depth, because I think it kind of helps us understand them. But there are a lot, and we are only on the second category, and we're only about roughly halfway through this category.
Yeah, we're getting close to 2 hours at this point, unedited. So maybe let's do some rapid fire for a little bit.
All right, let's do some rapid fire.
Okay.
So hedonophobia is the fear of obtaining pleasure. So you just don't want pleasure. Well, you fucking.
That's fucking sad.
That's just sad.
That's a fucking like flailing monks.
Yeah. Hodophobia is the fear of travel, just in general.
Okay, a little boring, but yeah, also legitimate.
Also an understandable one.
Yep.
God Lord. Magirocophobia. Magirocophobia is the fear of cooking.
Ooh, hope you have enough money. Eating out every night.
Fucking DoorDash every night. Monophobia is the fear of being alone or isolated by oneself. So kind of goes hand in hand with that one we talked about earlier.
Yeah. Also seems very common, very typical. Like most people don't like being alone.
Nomophobia is the fear of being out of cell phone range. And I believe that has to do with the fact that if something happens to you, that you won't be able to contact anybody. I think that's, and they obsess about that thought. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, that sucks. It's a real thing though, because it sucks when you're out of contact. You feel like your one safety line is cut.
Yep. Nostophobia is the fear of returning home, which could arise from, trauma that's happened there in the past, current abuse that's happening now, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
that's what I assume. Yeah.
Yeah, sad.
Nyctophobia is the fear of the dark or darkness.
Pretty natural.
Standard fear for kids, but if you don't grow out of it, kind of turns into a phobia. So,
yeah, no, and that can fuck you up, because also if you have a partner who needs to sleep, and they, most people sleep well in the dark, and if that could really become like a thing. So, yeah, that sucks. It's understandable, but you gotta try to get that checked out.
Exactly. Obesophobia is the fear of gaining weight. All right, we've all been there.
Yeah, it sucks, and some people more so than others, where it becomes like an actual meltdown, and I think that becomes more of a a pathway to anorexia, which is extremely dangerous and can kill you. So keep that in check. Get help if you have this.
Yeah, absolutely. That hand in hand. I mean, because you're trying to avoid that, and what are you avoiding? Gaining weight. How do you usually gain weight? Eating shit. So, be very careful that it doesn't turn into bulimia or anorexia or anything like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who die from that every year. So it's real. It's real.
Oikophobia is the fear of household surroundings and household appliances.
Huh. Interesting.
Like toasters, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. So it's watching a sitcom is a fucking hell on earth for them.
Yeah. Especially one in the 50s with all their fancy appliances that are all matching and stuff.
Interesting. Wonder if it's an overstimulation thing. They're
probably afraid of it killing them somehow. That's what I would assume. Because I'd be afraid of being electrocuted or burnt or something.
I could see that. I bet it varies too. So
Jesus. Oneirophobia. What do you think?
Yeah. Oneirophobia.
Oneirophobia, the fear of dreams and having dreams, which is unfortunate because you can't avoid that.
Yeah, you're kind of stuck with that. Even if you smoke, because I know smoking weed can also repress dreams. You don't dream as much when you have weed, but it doesn't get rid of them completely. And okay, maybe if you're having nightmare after nightmare, okay, yeah, I don't blame you. I'd fucking hate dreaming too.
Exactly.
Crazy.
I practiced this one earlier and I fucked it up. Ophthalmophobia.
Okay.
Yeah, the fear of being stared at.
Yeah, being stared at's pretty off-putting. It's more irritating, but I can see people because it's a kind of a confrontational act. That's what you do to let someone know I'm hyper. There was this one guy who I would venture to say, and with all due respect, I'm fairly positive he was on the spectrum, but he had whenever he talked, he would not break eye contact. Stared at you, and it was so off-putting and weird, because naturally we as humans without even thinking about it, we'll look away, we'll wander around, because that's our way of processing data. When you tell me something and I look away for a second, I'm thinking about it, and then processing my answer, and then saying, and then we return to eye contact, so on and so forth. If you think about it too much, then you try to do it it's manually breathing. It becomes a hassle. But so when you don't break eye contact, I'm not even thinking, I'm just focusing on you. It's ugh.
It's confrontational, the amount of eye contact that we give people, and people on the spectrum of autism, they don't have the same ability to process social norms as we do.
Yeah,
so they just kind of stare at you, or they don't look at you at all, so.
Yeah. And if you ask them, why do you do that? It's because I'm talking to them. I'm looking at them and they just don't get it. It's just, there's something just not there. And yeah, that's autism. That's how that works.
That's the way it goes. This next one is one that I have for sure. All right. Phallophobia is the fear of erections. All right. Every time I get hard, I scream my head off.
Must be a fun house to live in, huh?
Every time I wake up in the morning, I see that dirty thing sticking up there,
Oh, watching a horror film, and it's just you're just jigging it. And this one dude's boning this chick, and you just start wailing and running to the other room. Oh, it's not going to be on screen, is it?
Bloodlet, so it goes away,
Gross.
Ew.
Silly, but also debilitating if you do have it.
Yes.
I can see women having that.
Yeah. I wonder what it would be like to live the life of a man who's afraid of boners, because you get them. And you get them. You can't avoid it all the time. You get them sometimes in the morning, and
yeah. I mean, I watch a video on it.
Oh, like you jerk off to it? What?
No, I would watch a video like documenting like what it's like to be a man afraid of your own. I mean, yeah, if that's what it takes, whatever, man.
All right. Stasophobia is the fear of standing or walking. That's unfortunate.
That is very unfortunate.
Taphophobia is the fear of graves or being buried in a grave while still alive.
Yep, I have that. Fuck that. Anything about it, anything close to it. That's like those pranks where it's like they cover you in a cardboard box while you're sleeping.
Oh my gosh.
And then they wake you up and they have somebody like holding it down. So it seems like you can't. I would fucking murder like anybody who did that to me. I would be so fucking mad.
Same. And I think this one I didn't put on this list because everybody knows about it. Claustrophobia. I didn't. But this one, it seems to go hand in hand with it, right? Because not only are you being buried alive and your safety is in jeopardy, but you're in an enclosed space like that, and it's that's what gets me the worst about being buried alive is the claustrophobia aspect.
Yeah, you can't move.
Can't escape.
That shit sucks. Yeah, horrible.
Telephone phobia. The fear of making or receiving phone calls. I assume this one. I don't know for sure. There could be different aspects, but I think this one might be like socially related.
I think so too. Because there was a time I hated talking on the phone, but like you get over it. Like especially if you like work a job that forces you to be on the phone all the time. Then like, well. Just get in or get out. Like, and yeah, it's one of those, once you get used to it, like you can not like talking on the phone, but like for most people who don't have like something going on, like you just got to do it get forced into it a couple times and you're fine.
Yeah. Thermophobia is the fear of intolerance of high temperatures. So I don't think it's necessarily the fear of it being hot out. It's the fear of, am I going to die because it's hot out?
Yeah. Is this going to kill me? So, yeah. Ooh, that is debilitating.
Vehophobia, the fear of driving. I don't have this, but driving makes me very, very anxious in a bad way.
Well, driving is relatively dangerous, so reasonably so. I mean, I used to. I don't have to as much anymore. I used to drive all the time, like every week. I always had a long drive. So, you know me, I was like driving through like LA traffic, so to me, it's like I'm so far away from the fear of driving. Like obviously, I don't want to crash and die or anything like that. And I mean, it's the real world. Like anything can happen. But like I've heard like there's just people who just never get their driver's license. They can't do it.
Norm Macdonald never got his driver's license. I don't know, and I think it's because he was afraid of driving, if I remember hearing correctly. So he never drove.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
Last one for situational is workplace phobia. It is the fear of the workplace, and it is a subset of ergophobia, which is the fear of working or seeking employment.
Wow. Too bad.
Yeah, sucker.
Yeah.
No, that's rude.
Yikes.
I feel that. I mean, it's like an irrational fear. They're not being lazy. We have to remember they're not lazy. There's something wrong with them that is causing this fear. But still, good luck. You know what I mean? Because you got to fucking get a job. That's just the way it goes, homie.
Yep. You can only avoid it for so long. Or fine, like, especially with the work from home shit. Hell, that might be a good fix. I don't know.
Okay, now here's the deal, guys. We're almost at 2 hours uncut time right now. We just finished the second category. There's 3 categories left, and it's almost 6 o'clock here for me, recording time wise. What's the game plan?
Here, I can read really fast. You want me to just like blast through as much as possible? And you can just like, I'm just going to keep going. Feel free to inject what you want, but I'm just not going to stop. How about that?
All right. We have to talk about arachnophobia when we get to it, but the rest I'll try not to inject in.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Acrophobia, fear of heights.
Oh, real quick. This is the natural, we didn't talk about, this is the natural environment phobias. All right. This is the next category.
So it's the world caused by the world around you. Acrophobia, anchrophobia, fear of wind or drafts. Aquaphobia, fear of water, not to be confused with hydrophobia, which is a property of objects that cannot get wet. It repels water. Astrophobia, fear of thunder and lightning. Heliophobia is a fear of sun or sunlight. Lilapsophobia is a fear of tornadoes or hurricanes. That's very dangerous, obviously. Mesophobia or germophobia, a fear of germs, contamination, and or dirt. Noctophobia, a fear of the night, goes hand in hand with the dark. Pyrophobia, fear of fire. Thalassophobia, fear of the ocean or being in the ocean. I think also can be fear of drowning. Tonotrophobia is a fear of thunder. I don't like thunder. It's loud. It's I don't say it scares me, but I don't like being startled. So
that was the shortest category that I had in there, was the natural environment, or it was tied with BII. So now we're getting into the animals ones. That's what's next here. There's a lot of them that we can read through. The only one I really need to make a stop on is arachnophobia.
Yeah. So that should be coming up soon. So let me see. We have ailurophobia is a fear of cats. Anatidaephobia, fear of chickens. Electrophobia with a K is a fear of ducks. And arachnophobia. Take it away.
Okay, this is the fear of arachnids, right? But most commonly we associate this with the fear of spiders. I don't know why. I have very, 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 very bad arachnophobia. Not officially diagnosed, but I guarantee you I meet the criteria. Tasker has seen it in action. Not fun. I can't even look at pictures of them. Now, here's the fucking worst thing that's ever happened to me. Oh, not the worst. I'm exaggerating, but that's what happens. You exaggerate in this type of phobia. So I was reading about phobias, and I texted Tasker this to kind of relieve some stress. I was reading about phobias, learning about them, and then, of course, the audacity of the person who made the textbook, they put a picture of a goddamn tarantula next to the text. Now, why would you do that?
Yeah, that fucked you pretty hard. You were not okay with that.
I can't look at pictures of them, dude. I fucking freak out. I had to put, in order for me to finish reading that passage, because it was right next to the words, I had to put like a container of something up against my computer screen and then scroll through that way, because I could not look at it. Like, I have very, very bad arachnophobia. Don't know where it comes from. I don't really recall any memories of having any traumatic experiences with spiders. My initial reaction to why my response is anything on Earth that is benevolent should not have 8 legs and 8 eyes. That's just my opinion. Nor should they have hair. I have heard rumors around my neighborhood that tarantulas are starting to be spotted now, because in my state where I live, they are kind of common. That is the worst news I've gotten ever. And I've heard some bad news before, right? I was alive when 9/11 happened, but this is the worst news that I've ever gotten in my life. So every time I walk outside now, I check the ground. It's very debilitating for me. I really don't like spiders, and that's my rant.
Yeah. Well, I remember. I mean, and we could. I don't know if you care for me to tell the story, but like that time when you thought you had a spider bite.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, you were not having it, and it's funny because the thing is like, as you listen to the show, I mean, you could probably assume that Nick's a pretty like comedic guy in person, but the reason this is like, it stands out is because it's when it comes to like arachnids and stuff, you do not, the jokes stop it completely. Like, it is a complete 180. It's like, yeah, no, it's very distinct.
Very, very serious about it. Just thinking about them freaks me out after maybe 5 seconds of thinking about, especially like, I really, really, really don't like spiders, but tarantulas hit me hard. And right. I don't know, man. So I know, I feel like this is what it's like to suffer from a phobia, because it's very like, I will actively avoid anything anywhere. I went to not a museum, like a wildlife exhibit type thing a couple months back. And of course, these tarantulas are in enclosures. Catch your boy 50 feet away, though. I'm not going near those things just in case they get out. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's my life with spiders. Yeah.
Yeah. And like we talked about before, and like with my thing, it's like, it's debilitating in its own weird way, but it's also too, it's like, it gets in the way of not like little things, but like, it'll cut off certain parts of the exhibit. And fortunately, because usually the hardest part I think with like arachnophobia is, you know, dealing with ridicule. But fortunately for you, Nick, you have a very imposing figure, and people like, would not ever think fucking twice about, because the next thing they'll see is 5 knuckles to their forehead.
So, yeah, dude, I know I have met people, because I'll be open about it. I'll tell people I'm afraid of spiders, especially if it comes up or if there's a spider.
Yeah.
And I've had people jokingly say, hopefully jokingly say, you know, maybe we could use that as a prank towards you. I was like, I'll fucking kill you. I will straight up lose my shit if I talk a big game, but if I ever saw a tarantula face to face, which thank Christ I've never seen one face to face, but if I do, like in the wild, I talk a big game, but I will run the other direction faster than Usain Bolt, dude. I'm out. You know what I mean?
I could see that. And also too, and I think you made a good point, because you're very good about that, like sort of like the preemptive, like, hey, like this is my thing with spiders, and they're like, ha, ha, ha. And when Nick, you know, when Nick just right now said like, oh, like if you do that, I'll kill you. Now let me remind you, Nick is very tall and a very well built guy, and when he's towering over you, looks you in the eye with the utmost sincerity and says, I will fucking kill you if you do that. Well, let's just say nobody's done it to you yet.
Not yet. I mean, I wouldn't actually kill somebody, but I might.
Oh, they'd get it.
I might overreact a little bit, you know, because that's rude. Like, why would you do that? You know, like I'm even thinking about it now, like, and I'm getting I'm getting freaked out. But that's my story with arachnophobia. It's not been fun. I don't know where it comes from. I don't remember any trauma with it. I just think that they're abominations that should not be existing. That's all. That's me.
Yep. And you're allowed to feel that way. I mean, hey, it's better than being too afraid to drink water or something.
True, dude. Can you imagine having aquaphobia? It's like, how do you live?
Yeah. I heard about a kid who's actually allergic to water. He can drink it, but if water spilled on him, it would like negatively react to his skin and turn to a rash.
Oh, that's horrible, dude. He's like the alien from Signs, dude. That sucks.
Literally worst life ever. So sometimes you gotta count your lucky stars. But we've already passed the 2-hour mark, so let's blast through some of these. Batrachophobia, the fear of frogs and other amphibious creatures. Yeah, both land and water. What the fuck's up with that?
Yeah, unnatural.
Yeah. Chiroptophobia, fear of bats.
If only China had that.
Oh my god. They're just like flying dogs. Their bats are not that scary.
They're adorable.
They set them up to be. They are quite adorable.
Look up videos of fruit bats on YouTube. They're literally just like dogs with wings.
Yeah, you can feed them like berries and shit, and they're just like, oh hell yeah, like,
yeah,
they're cool.
They're chill. Yeah.
Xenophobia is a fear of dogs, and this is very common because dogs, they're very emotive, and what comes with that is when they look scary, they look fucking scary.
Yeah, and there's a lot of occurrences of kids being attacked by dogs when they're younger, and that can lead to a phobia. So that's another reason why it's common too.
Yeah, no, I had like a guest speaker who had a huge fear of dogs because he was attacked by like a giant fluffy dog as a kid and hates them now. So that's how it goes. Entomophobia is a fear of insects, pretty common. Equinophobia or hippophobia is a fear of horses. Herpetophobia is whatever. Fear of reptiles. Ichthyophobia is a fear of fish. Lepidoterophobia, fear of butterflies and moths. I've seen that before. I mean, I think butterflies are like kind of like fun and colorful, but like some people think they're disgusting.
True. And I think moths are adorable. If you look at pictures up close of them, they're all fuzzy and they got like these big eyes, you know, they're kind of cute.
Yeah, they're kind of silly. Like, did you see the one where they would draw like a moth girl, and that was like really popular?
Yes,
for a while?
I remember that, dude. And I was like, I've never been more turned on by a moth.
Yeah, got rid of that phobia real quick.
And that's what I call exposure therapy.
See, there you go. That's the way to fix it. Rule 34, baby. So, melissophobia or apifophobia, the fear of bees. Musophobia, fear of mice and rats, pretty common, I think. Myrmecophobia or myrmecophobia is a fear of ants. If there's a lot of them, man, yeah, that shit can get overwhelming. Ophidiophobia is a fear of snakes, very common. Ornithophobia, fear of birds. Ostraconophobia, Ostraconophobia is a fear of shellfish. Ranid.
Oh no, it's a clam.
Oh,
Oh
shit.
jeez.
Get this shit out of my face. I'll kill you.
Oh, it's sad.
Oh man. Yeah, that's I would like to hear like where that like what that's like, but no, I'm in no rush. Ranidophobia, the fear of frogs and toads specifically.
LA Beast remember that one video where he said that he had a phobia of frogs, and you could see his distressing reaction when he had to sit through that.
Very visceral. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, Ellie Beast, shout out, man. Fucking love your videos. Zoophobia is the umbrella phobia, for which all of these fall underneath.
And it's also just a general phobia of animals. So some people out there might suffer from zoophobia, where they just are afraid of animals in all kinds of shapes and sizes.
Ugh. So if you have that, just try not to think about the fact that you're an animal too. Whoa! I was the animal all along. Oh boy. All right, let's blast through. We have the final category, which is the other categories. This is the weird shit. So get ready to either learn a little bit about yourself or learn that you have fetishes you did not expect to have. Woo! So we have acousticophobia, a fear of noise. Androphobia, a fear of adult men. That is a very sadly common one, I think.
Yeah, especially in younger girls.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, ugh, man, brutal. Apeirophobia, the fear of the infinity and the fact that it cannot be counted. Another thinking man's phobia, you know?
Another thinking man's phobia, dude. The philosophical phobias, my man.
Fucking heavy, man. Too fucking heavy. It's rough. Bibliophobia, fear of books.
I feel that.
There's a lot of that going around. Cough, America. We have cacophobia, a fear of ugliness. Yeah, I guess so. Chemophobia, fear of chemicals, reasonable for in certain circumstances. Chromophobia, the fear of colors.
Also, I should note for chromophobia that there were on the list, there were subphobias for each color. I didn't list them all, but just know that each color basically has their own phobia.
I could see like something traumatic happens and the room was red or something like that. So anything red sets you off. Like, okay, I could see that. Chronomentrophobia is a fear of clocks. Coprophobia, the fear of shit or shitting.
And that's not that's not like the psychological. It said defecating and stuff, but I just put shit and shitting because I was in a rush.
I kind of figured.
Can you imagine, dude? In the text, it's like, here's your sorry, sir, you have coprophobia. You don't like to take shits.
It's like you're like a fucking nun or like ex-nun or something like that. I don't like shitting, eh? Oh my god. Chorophobia. Oh yeah, that's a big one. Fear of clowns. America especially is really big on this. So much to the point that in a Nintendo game, they had a character who was like a girl in like clown like makeup, and they were shocked to find that character was like the lowest in the polls in America, because hating clowns and being afraid of clowns is actually quite an American thing. And it was like it was so clearly like the reason people hated the character. The developer was like, I think I just found the Americans' weakness.
Clowns.
Yeah. Interesting. Isotrophobia, fear of mirrors and seeing one's own reflection. That's interesting. I think I have tendencies of this, but I don't think it's like to a phobia, you know?
What kind of like it? I know that you talked earlier about the fear of seeing something in the mirror, but do you have a fear of looking in the mirror and seeing yourself for one reason or another?
when I'm feeling like really down, I choose not to, because I have to confront what I'm looking like. But I mean, it's not a problem. Like I'll, like anybody else, when a cool song comes on, you like look at yourself in the mirror and you pretend you have the microphone up.
Oh
like,
yeah.
You gotta like. What am I, a fucking loser? Like, geez, like you gotta enjoy yourself every now and again.
When Cake by the Ocean comes on, hell yeah, I sing in the mirror. But also,
Stickly by Attack
dude, I do crab corn in the mirror.
You can't not like that's how So yeah, I think it's more of a fear of seeing something behind me than my own reflection or seeing things reflected.
Gotcha. I just don't look in the mirror at myself when it's bulking season.
Oh yeah, that's a tough one to get. I've been bulking since fucking 2019, so. It's been rough. Next we have emetophobia, the fear of vomiting. I don't like it. I don't fear it though. It's good to get that shit out, you know.
Yeah.
Erotophobia, the fear of women's genitals. I mean,
right, a present, you know.
Yeah.
It's all slimy.
It's an odd, genitals are an odd thing, you know. It's just, you know, take that as you will. I think everyone has varying opinions on it, and you know, do what you gotta. Genophobia is the fear of knees or kneeling. Oh, good thing you're not Catholic then, because you got to do a lot of that.
Yeah, or at a glory hole.
Yeah, glory
I don't know.
hole.
I was trying to think of the dirtiest thing I could come up with, and that was it.
It works. You have globophobia, the fear of balloons. I mean, if you had a really bad experience watching the movie It, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was thinking in my head, is that could go, because, like, remember we mentioned up top at the beginning of this episode, people with phobias tend to have multiple ones, and these phobias are usually related. So what if globophobia and calorophobia are hand in hand, right? Because what do you see? What do clowns usually have?
Oh, balloons.
Fucking balloons, man.
Yeah, that makes sense. We have gynophobia, fear of adult women, which also, yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure there's plenty of legitimate cases of that. And also, too, I think also if like a man especially got like super fucking cheated on, like, yeah, I could see that developing into like a phobia.
Yeah.
But also, too, I think there's like some pedos out there that might use that as their excuse for being, no, you're terrible and you deserve any sort of fucking punishment you get. It's a crime.
Or incels might use that too.
Incels, I could see that. Halitophobia, halitophobia. I see halitosis, fear of bad breath. Oh boy, here we go.
There's the one. There's the one that you wanted, man. Now you got to say. I practiced it earlier. Now you say it though.
Yeah, you're right. Hippopotomonstrosequipedaliophobia. The fear of long words.
There you go. Yeah, it's a sad, ironic truth, but that is the fear of long words. Hippopotomonstrosis quipid aliophobia. That's a mouthful, man.
That's the biggest goddamn the psychological community ever came up with.
It's a bunch of trolls, dude.
Yeah. Next, we have heptadecaphobia, the fear of the number 17. Just like how at that movie, the number 23, certain like numerology things can really freak people out and get them obsessed.
Yeah.
Which, as we stated earlier, obsession is a good track record to phobia.
Yep.
Or a good track to phobia, I mean. Next, we have camponophobia, the fear of buttons on clothing. I don't get how that works.
Just afraid of like the buttons on shirts and stuff.
You know, it could be. It could also be that thing where it's like you have a fear of like the holes and hole shaped patterns. Maybe that is like kind of hand in hand.
Yeah, I put that in here somewhere. The list. This list is long. The other list is long. It is in here. I did put that one.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll bring it up when we get to it. So we get numerophobia, the fear of numbers. Necrophobia, the fear of death or the dead. That's pretty common. Like confronting your own mortality is never fun. Omatophobia, a fear of eyes. Is that an
olfactory, like olfactophobia?
Oh, olfactophobia, fear of odors. Panphobia, fear of everything or constant fear of an unknown source. That sounds like a fucking terrible existence, and God help you if you have that. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Pedophobia, which is a fear of children. Phagophobia. Nick.
Excuse me.
Phago.
I would have pronounced it phagophobia, not knowing if that's right or not. But I think that was quite Freudian of you, sir.
I don't think it was. It is the fear of swallowing, by the way. It probably is phagophobia. So thank you for that. Thank you for that trap there.
Classic.
Phasmophobia. Oh, that's a video game. Fear of ghosts and spirits.
Dude, it's a video game and it's in VR. I haven't tried it yet, but I want to play it. My buddy plays it and he says it's super fun in VR. So
yeah, I hear like I can't play that shit. That would freak me out. But yeah, it was a big streaming game for a while. So yeah, it's really cool. Let's see. Philophobia, fear of love. Oh man, that's sad, but true. I know there's a lot of that out there. Phobophobia is the fear of fear itself or the fear of having a phobia.
Yikes.
Thinking man's phobia or just crackpot phobia? I don't know.
Sounds like that sounds like it's this one and then what was the other one? The one
where
fear
of infinity.
No, the what was the one that we talked about where it's a fear of everything? The fear of everything was
Panphobia.
panphobia, and this one just sound to me like they're stemming from like some kind of anxiety disorder because they're just afraid of everything or fearful.
There's
of it,
something else. Yeah, there comes a point where it's like maybe a phobia is not your problem. Maybe it's something else.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Pogonophobia, the fear of beards. Oh, you're not gonna like us. Somnophobia, the fear of sleep. That sucks. Submechanophobia, the fear of man-made objects being submerged underwater. Probably also hand in hand with the fear of drowning and the fear of water.
There's a subreddit for it, by the way. That's very interesting to look at if you guys want to see for submechanophobia. Very interesting.
Crazy. Teratophobia, the fear of giving birth to a monster or a heavily disfigured child. Ooh, that's a rough one. Damn. And trypophobia, the fear of holes or textures with the pattern of holes. There's some people who just cannot deal, and that's like a thing. And it's I don't know.
Like if you've ever cut a whole head of garlic in half, that's a perfect example. Looking at it downward and look at that. That's what people are afraid of, is that type of pattern.
I wonder if like honeycomb is like that because it's really organized and cleaned. Will that set them off too?
I think so because it's patterned. I think it's pretty much a bunch of holes that are either organized or disorganized. I don't think it has to be either one. I'm not sure though.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure.
I've seen ones. Yeah, I've seen ones where they're like kind of like different shapes and sizes and like it especially when it's like like a really like decrepit looking thing. Like it can look like a rotted like it can look really creepy. But I feel like for me it needs to be like in a creepy context. Like this thing looks like a spooky monster that's going to get me versus the actual something with a bunch of holes in it. I just kind of like shrug. Yeah,
it kind of looks just gross to me, especially when people Photoshop trypophobia holes on like people's arms.
Yeah, that's disturbing. But I think that's also a like an uncanny valley thing of like taking something human and like fucking it up and making it look weird.
Yeah, it's just gross. I mean, I'm not afraid of it, but it's like I can see why people would be afraid of it, like because it's kind of nasty looking,
It is kind of nasty. I'll agree with you on that one, but it's almost like if you edited somebody and just made their faces blank, like it's creepy.
Yeah,
it's not quite human, but it's almost there.
Yeah.
And I think that's everything. Yeah, I guess we should just wrap it up and call it a day, huh?
Yeah, dude, we blasted through the last half there. I really like the fact that we were kind of going but one by one. I know we didn't have time to do it, but I think that we got some good insights on some of these just from like shooting the shit point of view. That was kind of fun.
I think it carried over too with like a lot of the other, because we could talk about all these like all day long, and we could have done like 2 episodes, but we have a lot more Halloween content we gotta get to. So
unfortunately, guys, we couldn't do a 2-parter this month because, like Tasker said, it's Halloween and we got more shit to get to.
Exactly.
But if you guys are suffering from a phobia that we talked about on this list, know that you're not alone because many, many other people are, in fact, suffering from that phobia. That's why it has a name. And there are treatments out there that are highly effective. There are things you can do it.
Yeah, we've been working with phobias for a very long time. Like, there's plenty of help out there. There's plenty of proven working procedures that can help you through it and stuff like that. This stuff is, if it's debilitating you, like that's something that can be fixed. And I'm a firm believer of, you can't destroy and atomize your demons, but you can definitely learn to get a better grapple on them and to at least control it. And because it's sometimes there's this worry of like, I can't ever get away from the trouble, because you just gotta learn it's management. It's about dealing with the bad just as much as the good. And you're gonna make it.
We're all gonna make it, bro. And
we are all gonna make it, bro.
And it's about your perspective. That's why CBT is super helpful when it comes to this kind of stuff. So if you guys seek help, that'll help you. Exposure therapy is still very useful, but they use like a more incremental style now. So there are methods out there. If you people, okay, I don't know why I said that aggressively. You people need help, then go look for help. I'm not going to get help for my arachnophobia because the idea of me getting help for arachnophobia sounds terrible just in itself. So I'm a lost cause and I will live with it for the rest of my life. But you guys can get help out there. If you guys have globophobia, for instance, don't be that guy who's afraid of balloons irrationally. You could get help for it. I promise.
Yep. There's especially with those like less, like we'll say lesser debilitating, like there's ways around it. There's ways to work through it. And sometimes a lot of people have that same thing of they're so afraid of it. They're afraid of seeking help for having to confront it. And you know what? Maybe that just means you're not ready. In which case, you got to figure out what works best for you and what you can do to have like a good work-life balance.
Exactly. But hey, that was a fun episode, man. I feel like we got real insightful this episode, and it was quite fun.
I think so. I did, though. I do got to point out how it was sketchy. How it was like an old text of phobias, and that there was kind of something that got kind of rubbed out. And I know we were working on it, and we realized that Count Chocolophobia is something that has been erased from the books, and because they're trying to, the guy's trying to go dark completely.
Yeah, I heard that he has the Psychiatric Society gripped by the balls and got his phobia taken out of the DSM-5. So, unfortunately, he has his hands in all the pockets, and we are losing track right now.
So if you try to read up on it, you're not going to find it. Like he got us on that one, but he's been around for a very long time, centuries even. So, I have a feeling we ain't the first to try to go after him. So, we're holding our cards tight, and we're playing it safe for now. Like you said, we're kind of stepping away from the research because, we got to lay low a little bit.
That's right. It's getting too hot. All right. I bought a box of Count Chocula, and just to see, and guess what? There was a tracker inside of the box, inside the cereal, like it was supposed to be hidden.
Yeah. Fucking shameless.
So that just know, if you guys are buying Count Chocula, you're being tracked by him because you listen to this podcast. So be very, very, very careful.
Especially if you listen to this podcast. So stay safe and stay savvy, and, enjoy your breakfast because it is the most important meal of the day. If you're listening on iTunes, if you could 5-star rate and review, that would be super cool and helpful. If you are on Spotify, you can click the follow button to get our updates when we have a new episode that comes out every single Wednesday. So far, guaranteed at least till the end of October. Our change in schedule is still to be determined. Instagram is at CEOTPK. Our YouTube is Close Encounters of the Podcast Kind. Twitter is at CEOTPK1. Our TikTok is at CEOTPK. Check us out on Facebook, Close Encounters of the Podcast Kind. You can find all these links there, so you don't have to, type it in or anything. You can email us at ceotpk1@gmail.com, or go to our Discord, chat with us in a live setting, discord.gg/lowercase b, number 6, capital C, capital T, number 5, capital M, capital X. Again, all these links are on our Facebook, so you don't have to type them out.
That's right, guys. So thanks for listening. And look, whether you think that phobias come from learning or from traumatic events or both, the truth is out there.
Oh, yeah. And I was about to suggest some really horrible coping mechanisms. Don't do that. It's not. Holy crap.
That was so good, we might have to keep it in.
I don't know. I'll have to re-listen to it if the tonage is right.
Put some auto-tune on it.
Yeah, and I don't have to EQ it, then I'll be like, all right.